morning, Pia, Senator Pia. Good morning. Good morning, Senator Win Gatchalian, and Senator Marcos. I believe is in the list in this group. Uh, may I ask the secretary to please introduce the resource persons and guests, as well as the other senators that may come in as they come in. Go ahead, please, Sherry.
Morning, sir. Our guest list for today, starting from the governors of Region 3, Honorable Susan Yap Sulit, represented by her Chief of Staff, Attorney Army Ibardone.
May I ask uh, if you can raise your hand so I can see you? Where is Miss Evardone? Is Miss Evardone there, please?
Earlier, sir, she is there. Honorable Daniel Fernando, represented by Attorney Bailey Santos.
Please raise your hand. So there is no representation.
Honorable Hermogenes Sidani, represented by Attorney Jo Elaine Collado.
Elaine, are you there? Elaine Collado? Please speak through the microphone and say you're there, present.
From government offices, we have...
Just a moment, Madam Secretary. I need to know if they're there. Can you please look at the screen yourself so Miss Elaine Collado, are you there? Please sound off if you're there. So there are 3 representatives that are not present. Okay, go ahead. You have to unmute. Go ahead, Terry. Go ahead.
Attorney Habitat from Department of Finance.
Hi. Yeah, I'm not an attorney, Madam.
Asek Maria Teresa S. Habitan.
Thank you. Good morning.
Stand corrected, ma'am. Director Valerie Joy Brion from Department of Finance also. Director Brion.
Morning, Your Honors.
Is the Director of Finance here? Joy Brion. Joy, are you there? Hello, Director Brion.
Honor. Good morning, Your Honor.
Yes, just push the button and say, I'm Director Brion, I'm here, representing the Finance Department. It's okay? Because we don't see each other except here, and I would like the record to state that you are here in what capacity and which office you represent.
Good morning, Your Honor. I'm Director Valerie Brion from the Department of Finance.
Thank you, Valerie. It's a lovely name. Thank you.
Representative of Secretary.
Terry, can you come close to the microphone, please, and we can hear you? Go ahead.
Representative of Secretary Ramon Lopez. Director Erlinda F. Arciliana. Director Arciliana.
Good morning. This Director Saliana of the DTI-BOI. I am representing DTI-BOI.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have representative from NEDA, Assistant Secretary Greg L. Pineda.
Morning, Mr. Chair. Greg Pineda, representing NEDA.
And Miss Christine Villarino.
Christine Villarino of Chief EDS Regional Development Staff.
Also from...
Is she there?
Yes, sir. Good morning po. I'm here, sir.
Excuse me. Can you just identify yourself and the office that you represent so that the record will state so? Go ahead. My name is Christine Villarino, and I represent what? Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, she's also from NEDA, but I think she's having problems with her connection. Sorry.
All right. Fair enough. Good.
Representative of
My name is Christine, and I
Christy Villarina, again?
Kunwari, may nurse 1 na sila. For promotion na sana
She's
sila.
encountering some technical problem, Mr. Chair, but she is with me. She is with NEDA. Christine
Okay, go
Villarino.
ahead. Thank you,
Thank
Greg.
you.
Thank you. Next.
Representing Director General Charito Plaza, Attorney Christine Heidi Rosales.
Morning, Your Honor. Attorney Christine Heidi A. Rosales, respectfully appearing on behalf of the Philippine Economic Zone Authority.
Can you raise your hand? I can hardly see you.
Morning, Your Honor.
Hi, how
Attorney
are you?
Rosales.
Oh, you should be able to raise your hand, Christina. Thank you. Go ahead.
Your Honor.
Thank you.
Representative of Attorney Samuel Natpin from Governance Commission, Director Michael Pabalenas, and Director Jacqueline Fonseca.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning,
Michael.
the Honorable Chair. I'm also here, Chairman of the GCG, Samuel Dagpin Jr.
Dagpin Jr.,
Yes, I'm also here.
Governor of the GOCCs, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Sammy. Thank you. Did you lose hair, Sammy? Did you cut your hair short?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. That's why I didn't recognize you. The next one, please.
Representative of Secretary Mark Villar from DPWH, Attorney Denise Maria Ayag.
ARD from DPWH Region 3.
Where are you?
Sir,
Director Tolentino, is that you?
Director Maria Ayag.
Teka muna, Sherry, pakinggan mo muna. Hindi ko nakikita kung sino yung tao eh. DPWH again, please. Region 3. What is your name?
Dennis Maria Ayag, sir.
Dennis. I thought, sige. Okay.
ARD.
Are you the RD?
ARD. I'm the ARD boss.
Okay. Thank you. Assistant Regional Director.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you're here by the authority of your of your department secretary. I'm assuming that. Go ahead. Sherry, go ahead. I will stop calling you Cherry if you cannot speak straight. I will call you Eleuteria. I'll speak straight so I can hear you. Eleuteria, go ahead.
Representative of the DENR, Mr. Raul Mamak, DENR officer.
Are you there, Mr. Mamak? Mr. Mamak, mark them absent. And write the letter to this director that he did not show up. Secretary. Go ahead. Commissioner Dulay, is he here? And he's represented by Ralbert John Neil Tibayan. Are you there?
Good morning. Good morning, Your Honor. Yes, I'm here. I'm Attorney Ralbert Tibayan. I represent from the Law and Legislative Division of the Bureau of Internal Revenue.
Very well. Now go to Secretary Alfonso Cusi, represented by the Director Renante Sevilla. Are you there?
Good morning, Your Honor. Director Renante Sevilla, sir, representing Alfonso Cusi, sir, of the Luzon Field Office.
All right. Not PDP Laban, huh?
Not, sir.
Sige.
Non-partisan, sir.
I know, Director. That's what they all say. Director Sevilla, huh? All right. Okay. Next. Anybody else?
Is Attorney Cecil Abigail Francisco.
Where are you, Cecil? With
Good
the
morning.
Z.
Yes, good morning, Your Honor. Joining Director Sevilla from Department of Energy.
Okay, thank you. You know why I'm being squeamish about names and faces and raising your hand and your voices? Because we have to record this. It's difficult enough that we have to do this virtually. We have to do it right. Go ahead.
Representative of Attorney Agnes Ivanadera from ERC, Engineer Ranelio Maatuba.
Good morning, Mr. Chair.
Yes. You've been addressed as chairman. Mr. Chairman is the name.
Yeah. Yes, sir. From the Engineer Rani Matubang, sir, from the Energy Regulatory Commission.
All right. Okay.
Another, sir, Attorney Maria Adela Ching, Attorney 4 from the Office of Executive Director, ERC.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. I'm Attorney Maria Adela Ching, appearing on behalf of the Energy Regulatory Commission po, and this is me.
Thank you, Adela. Shall I call you Adela or what?
Madel na lang po for short. Thank you, sir.
Adele.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Attending from the BCDA, sir, Miss Eileen R. Sosa.
Eileen, I haven't seen you in a long time. Where's Eileen?
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Senator. I'm Eileen Sosa from BCDA. Mr. Senator, I beg your indulgence. In a few minutes, I have a presentation to the Belt and Road Summit, but Ms. Georgie Cañones will be representing BCDA, Mr. Senator. But I will be back after my presentation po.
Okay, Jocelyn, where are you?
Jocelyn Cañones, Vice President.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. This is Georgie Cañones from BCDA.
Do you have a video? Can you show your picture?
Yes, sir.
Why don't you press it?
Hey, Mr. Chairman. Good morning. This is Georgie Cañones from
Okay, thank you.
BCDA. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And also Mr. Rafael Jose M. Habana from BCDA.
Habana. Mr. Habana, are you there?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, good morning. Rafael Habana from BCDA also. Thank you.
I request you to speak closer to the microphone, especially later on. If you have any comments, I would like to understand them.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
From SPMA, Your Honor, Attorney Wilma Isma.
So, Ms. Isma, are you there from SBMA?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, good morning. I'm Isma for the Subic Bay Metropolitan Authority.
Thank you. It is SBMA, right, Jerry?
Yes, sir. With her are Attorney Ramon Agregado, Renato Lee.
Monch Agregado, I saw you a while ago.
Mr. Chairman. Morning, sir.
Where are you? Okay, all
Yes,
right.
sir. Morning.
All right.
Josephine Alipon.
No, you said Renato Lee. Is he there?
Good morning, Mr. Chair. I'm Renato Lee from SBMA.
Where are you, Mr.
Hi, Mr. Chair.
Whatever you are? Don't call me chair. I'm a person. I'm not a chair. All right.
Sorry, Senator Gordon.
Mr. Chairman, it will be sufficient.
Sorry, Mr. Chair.
Oh.
Man, sorry, Mr. Chairman. My
Okay.
apologies.
Sige, Mr. Lee. Just correcting. I have a heart, you know. Go ahead.
Antonieta Sanki, Deputy Administrator for Finance, SPMA.
Sina?
Antonieta Sanki.
Yes, okay.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. This is the Antonieta Sanki from SPMA. Thank you.
Yes. Go ahead.
Attorney Michael N. Quintos, Deputy Administrator for Legal Affairs, SPMA.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Attorney Michael M. Quintos from SBMA.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Josephine Ivy Alipon, Officer in Charge, Office of the Deputy Administrator for Business Group.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Ivy Ferrer po from SBMA Investment Department.
That is Alipuon, right? Or Alipon?
Alipoon po.
Yes.
Thank you.
Sherry, say their name correctly.
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Rio Totar, OIC Legal Department, SBMA.
Stephanie.
Stephanie, sir. Good morning, Chairman.
Good
Senator.
morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ideta Marsal, Manager, Financial Planning and Budget Department, SBMA.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Edita Lim Marsal from SPMA po.
All right. Edita, thank you.
And Jenny Rose Vicente, Manager, Accounting Department, SPMA.
Good morning, Senator.
Good morning, Jenny. Go ahead.
From Work Development Corporation, President and CEO, Manuel Argerlan.
Yes, I know, Mr. Gerlan.
Good morning, Mr.
Hi,
Chairman.
how are you?
I'm
President Manuel Garland from Clark Development Corporation. And with me also is Architect Tars Chutuiko of our Corporate Planning Division.
Charles Chotuico, are you there?
Good morning, Your Honor. I'm Tars Chutuico, also from Clark Development Corporation.
All right. Do you mind when you speak, mamaya tanggalin nyo lang yung mic, yung kanyo, yung mask nyo para makita ko kayo and so I will know who you are. Okay, go ahead. There you go. Go ahead.
From Authority of Freeport Area of Bataan, Attorney Maria Rosana Lucio, Legal Department Manager.
Magandang umaga po, Maria Rosana Lucio po from Authority of the Freeport Area of Bataan.
Is Engineer Pineda there?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Present, Mr. Chairman. Good morning.
Good. Sige.
Engineer Emmanuel Pineda,
Right.
Administrator, Authority of Freeport Area of Bataan. From Aurora Pacific Economic Zone, Mr. Israel F. Mandukdok, represented by Mr. Kirby Tolentino. Mr. Tolentino.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. This is Kirby Tolentino from representing APECO.
Okay.
And also Maria Cristina Suaverdes, Planning Officer.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. This is Dean Suaverdes of Aurora Pacific Economic Zone. Good morning.
From TIESA, Your Honor, represented by Attorney Nino Roberto Aquino, Officer in Charge, Legal Department, TIESA.
Where is the legal department of TIESA? Hello?
And
wait, they have not sounded off. It's not on.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Mr. Chairman. From TIESA, Attorney Aquino from TIESA, Mr. Chair. Mr.
Yes,
Chairman.
sound off right away because we have a long list. Please pay attention. Okay.
Also, Attorney Maria Salve Aure Carrillo, Attorney for Legal Services Division of TIESA.
Attorney Maria Salve Aure Carrillo, Legal Services. Where are you? Marker absent. Max, make a report to their chair, to their department. To their, the secretary is directed representative na nga lang, hindi pa darating. So make a strong letter to the secretary concerned or the head of agency concerned. Thank you. Go ahead.
Redel M. Domingo, President and CEO, Clark Electric Distribution Corporation.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. I am Redel Domingo, President of Clark Electric, the distribution utility serving Clark Freeport Zone.
Thank you. Go ahead.
That's all, Your Honor. Others come in late, maybe, so I have not updated this guest list. Maybe they can identify themselves, sir. Those who were not.
Yes, go ahead. Who's
Yes,
that?
Pedro Marife Castillo, DNR Zambales, sir.
Yes, how are you, Marife?
Fine, sir.
Thank you. Who else?
Good morning, Senator. Good morning, everyone. My name is Willie Wang. I'm from SPDMC in Subic Bay, Freeport Zone.
Thank you. If Willie Wang
from Taiwan.
of the SPDMC, which is a Taiwanese entity, can come here, I don't know why your agency heads are not here. We'll take a note about that in the next budget hearings. Go ahead.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. I'm Ami Fabros from the Subic Clark Alliance for Development.
Okay. You're the executive director, right? You're the executive director, Amy?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Uh-huh. And who is the chairperson, if any? Mayroon ba?
Chairperson is Secretary Vince Dizon.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Sige. Is that
Good
it?
morning, Mr.
Good morning, Chair. Attorney Elaine Collado representing Zambales Governor Mayenes Abdani. I'm sorry earlier I was having technical difficulties.
That's okay.
Thank
Attorney
you, Mr.
Collia.
Chairman. Collado, sir.
You call me Mr. Chair, so I'll call you Collia.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman. Sorry.
You're a lawyer. You should be able be attentive. Okay, go ahead. Next. Another regional office three.
Chair. Morning, Mr.
Good morning,
Chairman.
Mr. Chairman.
Bigyan
Joseph
ng report.
Esteban from
Susulatan ko yung mga boss na. Sige, next. Sino yan? Region 3.
Morning, Mr.
Linda.
Chairman.
Good morning.
Maris Aquino po from Nether Region 3.
Maris Aquino?
Yes, sir.
Is it
Nether
possible
Region
to put
3.
your name in the box? Who's in charge of that? Nakalagay lang, Nether Regional Office. Like the chairman, I'd like to know the person who's talking. So will the secretary see to it that the names as well as the representation, the office they represent are there? Sherry, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Can you see to it, please?
Yes, sir. We'll do that, sir.
Thank you. Okay. All right. And the one with the curly hair from BCDA. Okay.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. This is Attorney Ian Duldulao, representing BCDA.
Duldulao, that's an artist. That's an artist name.
Yes, sir. Manny Duldulao from Antipolo.
Your
But
father?
we're not related, sir.
Oh, yeah. He could make an excellent portrait of you. Go ahead. I'm trying to ease up. Go ahead. Yes, Miss EMB. Ang hirap eh. Oh.
Good morning,
What's your
Mr.
name?
Chair. I am Attorney Gloria Diana Tulno and representing Environmental Management Bureau.
I don't have your name.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, my name is Attorney Gloria Diana Tulnoan, representing EMB.
I can't understand you. There's nobody here by the name of Mr. Chair.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. My name is Attorney Gloria Diana Tulnoan, representing EMB.
Okay, thank you, Gloria. Go ahead. Anybody else?
Morning, Mr. Chair.
From NEDA Regional Office. Oh.
Good morning,
What's your name,
Mr.
please?
Chair.
And don't.
My name is Junji Ponyo from Nether Region 3 as well. Good morning po.
I only understood good morning. What is your name? I have to write down your name here.
My name is Junji Ponyo, Mr. Chairman. So we'll change our profile name po.
Ponyo.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Okay. Are there any others that we have not called or that have not introduced yourselves? You know, it's always good to know the names of the people that are here. Anybody else? Did I miss anybody? From Bulacan, Attorney Aaron or Aaron? Is it Aaron or Aaron?
Aaron, Your Honorable Chair. Good morning,
Moses.
Honorable Chairman Gordon. I'm Attorney Aaron Bailey Santos, representing the provincial government of Bulacan.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. You're very important. Go ahead. Anybody else? Okay. Thank you, Terry. Please take note of those who are present. And as I instructed, those who are supposed to represent, the ones that we invited were not here, send a letter to their head of agency, a strong one, if you will, and I will sign it.
Yes, sir. May I say something, sir?
Of course.
Additional. Senator Pia Cayetano, chairperson of Ways and Means, came earlier, and Senator Win Gatchalian, our vice chair, also here, and Senator Marcos earlier.
Thank you, Terry. Please take note of those who are present, and as I instructed, those who are supposed to represent, the ones that we invited were not here, send a letter to their head of agency, a strong one, if you will, and I will sign it.
Yes, sir. May I say something, sir? Additional. Senator Pia Cayetano, chairperson of Ways and Means, came earlier, and Senator Win Gatchalian, our vice chair, also.
Terry, can you do something about those who are present, and as I instructed, those who are supposed to represent, Paano ba yan? Sino ba ang kinakausap dyan? Terry? Naka-mute ka, Terry. Good grief. We're gonna have a long meeting. At the rate we're going.
That's all, sir.
Please listen. Can you please call WebEx to fix up this?
Like,
Oh, there you go.
baka may live stream sa YouTube.
Huh?
They have to mute.
Can everybody, when you're not speaking, please unmute yourself, or rather mute yourself. Mute your computer so that we can listen to each other. It's a rather big crowd right now. So thank you very much. And Cherry, I already recognized Senator Cayetano and Senator Gatchalian and Senator Marcos earlier. You're in love again. You're not listening. Stop falling in love, because you have memory problems when you fall in love. All right. Distinguished senators, my fellow citizens, and my fellow government workers, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. This meeting is more or less an attempt to try and reinsert para umunlad ang ating ekonomiya. Sabi na sa akin, magtagalog raw ako, para maintindihan ng lahat na nakikinig, na magkaroon tayo ng impetus, or rather a big push, because I don't hear anybody right now talking about how we're going to restore the economy. And I will be very, very brief here and try to be very brief. Let me just say na baksak lahat ang ating mundo. Ang Pilipinas, lalo na, ang utang natin ay umabot na ng 11+ trillion. I will be corrected by, I'm sure, by Senator Pia. And then we have 1.1 trillion utang natin dito sa pandemic, sa mga binibili natin. And of course, we have 9 trillion utang natin sa military, sa pension. At marami pa tayong kakulangan, at nakikita ninyo kung bakit tayo gumagalaw dito. May I ask that you come up with the situation in terms of foreign direct investments in our country. Let me just point out that it has been going down since 2017, if I'm not mistaken. And you have in 2016, $8.2 billion, 2017, $10.2 billion, 2018, $9.9 billion, and 2019, $8.6 billion. I'm sure we have a slide somewhere there. 2020, $6.5 billion, and from January to February so far, it's $1.5 billion. And certainly compared against Vietnam, Vietnam has $15.5 billion. The Philippines has $10.2 billion in 2018. And 2019, Vietnam had 16.1, we had 8.6, and in 2020 we had 6.5, and Vietnam got 6.7 billion. So in terms of Indonesia, 18.9 billion in 2018 against our 10.2 billion, ang laki ng lamang. Again in 2019, 24.9 billion against our 8.6 billion, 19.1 billion in 2020 against our 6.5 billion. And I think you can see it now on the slide as presented. If anybody has any heartburn there, please react to it if you will. Gupo tayo dahil sa pandemya, at lalo tayo magugupo kung di tayo kikilos. Kailangan mabilis tayong kumilos, hindi pa natatapos. Dapat naghahanda na tayo ng mga i-offer natin sa ating mga kababayan kung saan sila mag-i-invest, at ganoon rin ang ating mga kaibigan sa ibang bansa. Malaki ang aking naging experience dito sa pag-ayos ng mga ganitong sitwasyon. Nung kami mayor ng Olongapo, giniba kami ng 2 event, yung Cabanatuan earthquake at Baguio earthquake, yung Central Luzon earthquake, yung Great Luzon earthquake kung tawagin nila. At nagre-recover tayo. Tinamaan pagkatapos tayo ng Pinatubo sa Region 3. At giba-giba ang Clark, giba-giba ang Subic, Olongapo, Angeles, at marami sa ating bayan, including Bataan and everything. And so, kailangan mag-rally tayo. Walang pity party, walang iyakan. Naglinis tayo, naghukay tayo, pinatag natin ang bayan para mapakita na buhay pa tayo. At buhay pa rin ang mga mamamayan, sapagkat hope springs eternal. And then when di pa tayo tapos doon, pinaalis ang base militar. As you know, they've been there for 94 years. Talagang nawala ng mga kababayan natin ng maraming trabaho. Walang nabasag yung palayok na kinakainan nila at ang Clark na daus-dos ng husto dahil magkaroon pa ng mga nakawan, pillaging ng mga Amerikano at Pilipino, yung mga paalis at saka papasok. And therefore, talagang ang ginawa ko talaga, ayoko mangyari yan sa ating bayan dahil reputasyon ng ating bayan na nakataya. Nagpunta pa ako sa Clark, gumawa ako ng batas. Please unmute, please. Please mute yourselves. Gumawa kami ng batas. Doon sa aking maliit na kwarto sa Olongapo, tinawag ko yung mga abogado kong kasama mga bata at ginawa namin yung amendment sa BCDA kung saan isinama namin ang Subic Bay Metropolitan Authority, the first free port in the country. Sinama natin ang Clark, wala silang mayor na nag-represent noong panahon na yon at hindi namin makausap. Pero sinama namin, ginawa natin special economic zones. Pati rin yung Poro Point at saka yung John Hay. Later on, umandar na ang Subic, nakuha natin sa pagrarally natin at paglalabi. Sabi namin, gusto namin kaming hahawak, binigay sa akin. At ang binigay sa akin, talagang araw-gabi, walang tulog, pinangalagaan yung base militar na iniwan, walang nanakaw at nagkaroon ng maraming puri sa buong mundo at nagkaroon ng maraming kumpiyansa sa buong mundo sapagkat nakita nila na hindi mawawala yung iniwan ng Amerikano at ang nagmalasakit pa ay mga taong bayan na nag-volunteer. Napaka-heartrending experience yon na mismong taong bayan, makikita nyo ang naglilinis sa mga bahay na hindi umaalis at hindi sa kanila. At yan, kumakain dyan, kanya-kanyang baon, kamatis, tuyo, kanin. Ang ataalala ko yan. Pinaglaban namin yan at luma-approve yan, kaagad-agad lumakad kami at ako yung nagpapasalamat. I thank Willie Wang of the SBDMC because ang una kong nakausap ay yung kanilang kanilang Secretary of Trade at that time na nakasama ko sa Georgetown Leadership Seminar. Dumating sila, ayaw pa sila pababain. Mayroon pang Amerikano noon, hawak pa nila yung airport para yung airport ng Kabul. Na hinawakan muna ng Amerikano para makaalis yung mga tauhan nila at ngayon naalisan na. Ganun rin sa Subic, kalahati ng base, hawak na namin, kalahati ng base, hawak pa ng Amerikano. Pero napababa namin yung aeroplano ng Taiwanese after circling for about half an hour. Tumawag pa ako ng araw sa Washington at saka sa Hawaii. Madaling sabi na pababa at kaagad kumuha sila ng 300 hektarya. 300 hectares were taken by SBDMC. We've created a corporation with SBMA at nakautang kami sila doon sa yung SBDMC ang umutang at ngayon nagkaroon kaagad ng industrial park doon. Yung dating skeet range ay nagkaroon ng pagkakataon makapaghanap buhay. Pumasok ang Acer, pumasok ang Teco, pumasok ang maraming kumpanya. Kaya tuwan-tuwa kami. Kailangan talaga maagap tayo. Ang Clark medyo naiwanan, so ginawa ni President Ramos na maging Freeport na rin. Sabi ko, hindi pwedeng maging Freeport, pero sabi niya, gusto ko akong presidente. So ginawa yan, at sabi ko, baka matalo tayo sa Supreme Court. At yun na nga nangyari nung umalis siya, binalik ulit sa Special Economic Zone. But by that time, tama yung sinabi ni President Ramos, nasasabay yan sa Subic pagka ginawa mong Freeport. Meron rin tayong vision na gano'n na magkasama ang Subic at Clark. At ito na nga yung vision na tatalakayin natin na itong Subic, Clark, Mariveles, pinakaluma, pinakabago, original na export processing zone ng Mariveles na ginawa ni President Marcos, ang tatay ni Amy. At yon ay ginawa ang North Expressway. At ang unang-unang dulo noon ay yung Mariveles, tinatawag natin EPSA, Export Processing Zone Authority. Just a little history para malaman nyo kung saan tayo pupunta rito. Ang ginawa natin, ng bill kagad, nag-aalisa na yung sa Clark dahil nagbago na naman ang patakaran. Dati na silang Freeport. Ginawa natin, nag-file ako ng bill na magiging Freeport uli ang Clark at naging Freeport ang Clark at pati na rin yung John Hay at saka Poro Point. One thing I want to tell you is that just because you have a structure of a Freeport or a free export processing zone, it will not happen unless all of us work hard. And Clark today has a new airport, Maraming investments, mas malaki ang lugar nila, mas madaling makakuha. Pero pag hindi natin aalagaan yan, hindi natin aalagaan ang Subic, talagang maubusan tayo. Pero ang sasabihin ko lang sa inyo, government exists to create equal opportunities for our people. At kung kayo gagawa ng mga oportunidad, ang tao, hindi natin bibigyan ng isda araw-araw para kumain, sila mismo ang gagawa ng paraan para makapaghanap buhay sila. We want to make sure that we're not drug na addict tayo sa kabibigay ng mga namumuno sa ating bayan. Inaabutan. At kailangan talaga maiangat natin ang ating sarili by our own bootstraps. So, yan ang istorya ng mga Freeport zones. At ngayon walang problema ang gobyerno sa Subic at Clark. Nagko-contribution kami ng malaki. At pagkagaling yung mga naandyan ngayon na umahawak ng Clark at saka Subic. At dapat ngayon panahon para mag-go to the next level. I will remind you that ang Pilipinas, nagkakarera nung araw si Lee Kuan Yew at si President Marcos, tinitingnan tayo nila Lee Kuan Yew. At noong 1959, nasa Malaysia sila. Noong 1963, umalis sila at talaga nakipagsapalaran sila sa kanilang galing. At ngayon, ang Singapore, napakayaman. Ang kanilang per capita income is about $63,000 per capita income. Ang Pilipinas, naglalaro sa $3,000 plus. So, malayong-malayo. Mas malaking populasyon, mas malaki sila. Pag tinignan nyo ang kanilang Air Force, talon-talo tayo. Kanilang Navy, talon-talo tayo. Because sila, ang kanilang paaralan, number 1 sila, number 2 sila. Tayo nangungulilat doon sa PISA, sila nandun sa nangunguna kasama ng Hong Kong, kasama ng Korea, kasama ng Japan, na dating binomba ng Amerikano. Tinalo natin dito sa Pilipinas, pero tayo mukhang kumakain ng alikabok palagi. Sabi nga, ano nga bang yung sila yung mga banda ng araw, ang kanta nila, another one bites the dust. Well, we've been biting the dust for so many times. And I think it's about time that we go up. And because of the pandemic, kailangan maganda tayo. So, hindi na natin ito. Na-approve na ito for the information of all. This was approved by the previous Congress. At ito ay na-approve by both houses. Pero ang tingin ko, ayaw ng ibang mga tao yan. Dahil sabi, mababawasan raw ang kita ng gobyerno. Sagot ko lang dyan, kung ikaw ay mabakanting lupa at wala kang ginagawa dyan, kahit na Freeport or Export Processing Zone, anong kikitain sa taxes ng gobyerno? Anong kikitain ng tao? Walang trabaho. Walang income tax. Anong pambabayad nila kung wala silang trabaho? Katulad ngayon, mahirap magbayad ng income tax dahil maraming walang trabaho. So ginawa namin yan, unfortunately, binito ng kagalang-galang President Rodrigo Duterte. Hindi ko maintindihan kung bakit, but I'm used to that. Pinaalis sa Subic, I'm used to that. Tinanggal ako sa Subic, sa Olongapo, tinanggal ako, I'm used to that. We get back and we try our best and we work hard. Hindi ako nagtatanim. Harapin mo yung, kalimutan mo yung nakaraan, matuto ka doon at harapin mo yung papasok para ikaw ay handang lumaban sa mga hamon ng panahon. So today, panlaban natin ito yung ginagawa natin bill. Hindi pa kompleto ito dahil nag-adjust pa tayo. Hihilingin ko sa inyo ang inyong payo, ang inyong comments para malaman natin kung maayos natin itong ating bayan at ang vision nito ay gagawa tayo, kung masusunod ito, ng mga zona sa bawat region. Inaasa natin sa gobyerno sentral. Naghihintay ang Ilocos, naghihintay ang Pangasinan, na dumating doon ang mga ginagawa ng DTI, ng mga NEDA, para dumating ang hanap buhay. Karamihan ng mga local government na nagsisipag, nakakakuha sila ng hanap buhay, nakakakuha sila ng investments. Yan ang ginawa namin sa Olongapo at sa Subic. Yan rin ang ginawa ng Clark. At talaga kung gagawin natin yan, nasa closer is better, mas malapit, mas magaling ang mga mamamayang Pilipino. Sapagkat nakikita nilang dumarating ang sa tulong ng pawis ay napapalitan ng mga pumapasok na investment. I don't have to tell you how many times did I shed a tear na makuha namin ng FedEx, makuha namin ng Coastal, makuha namin ng Taiwan Zone, makuha namin ng Japanese Zone. Because each time we saw that ang nananalay tayo sa aking dugo at aking kaisipan ay nagkakaroon ng kabuhayan yung mga tao na nawalan na ng pag-asa, pero dahil sa tulong ng pawis, naniwala sila sa sarili nila na makakakuha sila ng investment, sapagkat lahat yun, sinasabi nila na dahil sa ginawa niyong pag-iingat dito sa Subic, nabighani kami, kaya nagdatingan ng mga investments dahil sa pagrespeto sa mga volunteers sa Subic. At dyan yung makikita yung airport gumana, nakuha namin ng FedEx, at muntik na namin makuha si caching. In fact, nakuha na namin. Pero, again, mas magaling ang national government. Hindi kami pinayagan magkaroon ng air hub at saka seaport hub sapagkat tinanggihan ng national government yung port na gagawin ng pinakamalaking port operator ng Hong Kong, yung tinatawag natin Hutchison, HIT. Malaking pagkakamali natin yan, pero ganoon talaga ang buhay. No, sir. Hindi ako naniniwala sa weather. We make our own future. And if we allow other people, gagawa sila ng future na pansarili, sanay tayo sa mga Pilipino. Ako muna bago kayo. Dapat lahat tayo first for the common good. Pero kung tayo sabay-sabay ang buhat, I think, kaya nilitignan ko yung mga dating mga volunteers sa Subic, nandiyan na sila. Ayan, nagpipirmahan kami dito ng FedEx. Ang pumipirma para sa akin ay si Attorney Aristolenas, the late one, yung bata na yan. Yan ang nagtrabaho at yan ang nagpirma. Yung mga batang kasama ko, sila ang nagtrabaho sa FedEx. Nakuha namin. Itong si Gilmook is about 6'6". Si Purdy was about 4'11". At siya ang CEO ko noon. CEO si Gilmook, siya ang pumirma. And I really give credit where credit is due to our people. At marami dyan sa nasa likod ko. Wala ata dyan si Ami Isma. Yung mga nasa likod ko, mga galing sa Harvard, galing sa Iona, galing sa Stanford, at galing sa iba't ibang university, galing sa Texas, nakikita ko, at galing sa UP. At ako ay hamak na tiga-Ateneo lang at UP, lahat sila stateside. Sabi nga ni Terry, stateside. Ayan yung mga bata. At yung marunong tayong tumanaw ng utang na loob, lahat ng mga volunteer, may pangalan sila. Na ginawa namin ng wall, mabuti lang nakagawa ako ng paraan magawa ng wall para nung pinalayas ako sa Subic, ginamit ko yung word na pinalayas, at least makikita ninyo ang overview nitong wall na ito. Nagpupunta yung mga tao nag-volunteer dyan at ini-stencil nila kung sila ay balikbayan at naglalagay sila ng bulaklak pag may namamatay sapagkat for one brief shining moment, the volunteers of Subic made it a Camelot na basta tulong ng pawis sila sa kusang loob, balasakit at kapwa-tao. Nagawa nila yung Subic Bay Freeport at tinanghal ng Washington Post at saka ng New York Times at saka ng Financial Times at saka ng European News at marami pang iba na maraming that one of the most successful base, if not the most successful base conversion in the world. Ayan sila, mga bata rin, may mga Amerikano pa, may mga Singaporean, nag-volunteer dahil gusto nang malasap yung talagang sarap nung magsasakripisyo ka at yan ang naganap natin. Kaya sanay ako na nauusami lahat yung mga pangarap. Sanay rin akong bumangon. Nireject itong bill na ito, susubukan ko. Kung i-reject, subukan ulit natin. Kapagkat wala akong nakikita alternatibo kundi kumalap ng taxes pero hindi nakikinabang ang tao. Nakikita natin ngayon sa mga investigasyon natin. Nag-tax nga tayo pero napupunta sa mga dayon malalaki yung binabayad natin para makakuha tayo ng mga PPE na the most expensive PPE, the most expensive face mask dito. Tamang-tama yung face mask. Parang nag-hold up ng mga bangko na naka-maskara. Yan ang ginagawa natin ngayon sa ating sariling bayan. Nakakalungkot. Having said all that, nagpapandemya, wala akong narinig na gagawin. Pero kung ito magagawa, lahat ng governor, lahat ng mayor ng Region 3 na sumuporta dito last time, they can now go abroad, go to our countrymen, and say, meron tayong gagawin dito, itong Freeport, itong zona na ito, magkakaroon hanggat maaari, maglalagay kami ng kanya-kanya hektaryo kung gusto nila at kung sino mabilis, sila ang makakakuha ng hanap buhay. Ito ikakabit natin sa Subic at saka sa Clark o sa BCD kung anong regime ang gusto nila o sa Aurora o kaya doon sa mga zone na nagawa katulad ng napaka-successful na Freeport area o Bataan. So, mas madali kung ang kausap ay simple lang, papasok yun doon at para malaman nyo kung gusto nila pumasok sa hanay ng Freeport ng Bataan, pwede silang mag-apply directamente dito sa authority, o mas maganda kung gusto nila sa Bataan directly, Freeport area Bataan, they can apply there. Yan ang proposal ko para mabilis. Ako, speed is the name of the game. Kung mabagal tayo, iiwanan tayo, hindi tayo hihintayin. So, intindihin nyo yung sinasabi ko rito, pwede natin baguhin yan. It's not cast in stone, but that's what we want to do. Walang masyadong incentives ito. Bawal na ata ang incentives. Magkakasakit ang gobyerno pagka nagbigay ng incentives. Ewan ko kung paano tayo kukuha ng incentives. Tandaan po natin na ang buong mundo ngayon ay nahirapan. Pati Amerikano, nahirapan. Naghahanap sila ng kabuhayan. At ang mga lalamang dyan ay mga malalaking ekonomiya na may malalaking populasyon, na may teknolohiyang magaling, makakabangon ka agad dyan. Pero tayo, ewan ko kung makakabangon tayo mabilis unless ang liderato ay gumalaw at pagalawin at kumuha ng hanapbuhay sa iba't ibang bayan ng mundo. So ito ay parang formula natin para mabilis tayong makakayod dito sa labanan na ito para makakuha tayo sa kompetensya natin lahat ang buong mundo. At syempre, hahabol lahat yung mga nahirapan. At nakikita ko, kaya sinabi ko, pakita nyo nga uli yung foreign direct investment sa Indonesia. Malaki ang population ng Indonesia. About 240 to 300 million na sila. Tayo nasa 100 million. There's no reason why we cannot get the same. Tingnan nyo Indonesia, 24.9 billion in 2019. 2020, 19.1 billion. Kumpara nyo tayo, 6.5 billion with our 100 million. Talo tayo. Talo rin ang Vietnam. Pero ang Vietnam, ng 16.1 billion, nadaus-dus lang sila dahil dito sa pandemic. Bumaksak sila. Pero tingnan nyo, double figure sila for the last 2 years before. Pero ang Indonesia, tuloy-tuloy, double figures, 2018, 19, 20, kahit may pandemic na ng 2020, malaki pa rin ang foreign direct investments dahil malaki ang populasyon at nag-aayos sila, ay talagang papasok sa kanila. Kaya kung tayo tutulog-tulog na naman, yung mga Hapon aalis sapagkat nagbabago ang labanan sa mundo, nagbabalanse ngayon, ang Amerikano ayaw nang matalo ng China, ang Hapon ayaw matalo ng China, ang Korea ayaw matalo ng China, maraming aalis sa China. Hindi naman ako natutuwa doon, pero ganoon talaga, hahanap sila ng mas maganda at maayos na mapag-i-investan para ganoon ay makapasok sila. Kaya kung tutulog-tulog tayo, wala, nahuli na naman tayo. Katulad ng araw, number 1 tayo sa literacy rate, kulelat na tayo. Nasa mga number 7 na siguro tayo ngayon. Nasingitan na tayo. Araw, we had Asia's first airline. Ngayon, ang Singapore, ang dami-dami lang airline. Ang malalakas ang kanilang kabuhayan. Dapat ang turismo natin lumakas. Napalakas natin yan doon sa Wow Philippines. Pinalakas pa ng mga sumunod sa akin. At lumakas, yan kasama dito sa ginagawa natin. Sapagat ito, ang kasama dito ay agriculture, tourism, manufacturing. Pwede tayo magtabi ng lupa at mag-imbento tayo ng kasosyo na gagalaw. Kaya tinawag kong SBDMC sapagkat kausap ko yung kanilang pinaka-boss sa Taiwan. Kung tayo magbubukas, gusto nilang pumasok sa Central Luzon at nakausap ko ng araw ang presidente nila na pumanaw na si Li Tenghui. Personal ko nakausap yan, sama ko pa the late Lozada, June Lozada. Sabi niya, we have a go south policy. We want to go to South Asia, to Southeast Asia. At ang pinakalapit sa amin at tumulong pa sa amin ng araw ay Pilipinas. Kaya nakuha namin kagad yung Taiwan Zone. Kaya dapat lapitan natin ang Hapon, lapitan natin ang Koreano, lapitan natin ang Amerikano, lapitan natin ang China kung papasok sila. Pero dapat talaga negosyo ang kunin natin para magkabuhayan ang ating bayan. Gawin natin, nakikita natin ang hirap ng tao, tumitira sa Bulacan, tumitira sa Laguna para pumasok sa Maynila and vice versa. Hindi na natutulog, hindi na nakikita ang pamilya, nakasakay palagi, papasok, pagod na sa jeep pa lang o sa bus, pabalik, pagod na pagod at walang choice. Poverty is an absence of choice. Kung yan ang gagawin, ganyan na naman ang mangyayari sa atin. Ang gusto natin ay, gusto rin ninyo, and I hope gusto ninyo yung sinasabi ko, magkaroon tayo ng mga fabrika, ng mga negosyo sa Central Luzon para mga tao doon na lang lulugar at magpagawa tayo ng mga bahay para yung mga magtatrabaho dyan hindi mangungupahan, doon na sila mangungupahan sa hulugan nila at magbibisikleta na lang sila pagpasok sa trabaho. Malapit na yung pabrika sa kanila at malapit na rin yung eskwela sa kanila at hindi na mahihirapan ang taong bayan. Naintindihan ba niyo yung sinasabi ko o gusto niyo Englishin ko? Yan. Yan. Nakita ko nag-thumbs up. Yan. Good. Sinasabi ko lang po na dapat maintindihan nyo where we're going. It is better to know where we're going and not know how, than to know how we're going and not know where. Minsan, nahihilo tayo pare-pareho, tayo mismo ang naglalaban-laban, lahat tayo magaling, lahat tayo nagmamagaling, yun ang problema natin. Lahat nagmamagaling, kaya hindi tayo magkabuo ng vision. It takes vision to do this. It's a challenge to our country na magawa natin to. Because ang pangarap ko, pangarap nyo rin siguro yan, pag ito naging successful, wag nang maghintay. Kung ako, hindi na ako maghihintay kung ako itiga Panay Island. May airport rin sila doon, may seaport, katulad ng Central Luzon. 3 ang airport natin, magiging 4 pa. Subic, Clark, and Manila, within 1.5 hour away. Within 1 hour from Bulacan, mayroon ka ng airport. Mayroon ka pang airport ni Ramon Ang na gagawin. Mayroon ka pang 3 seaport. Ayan, Subic, Clark, Mariveles. Tingnan nyo yung mapa. Yan, no? Biro nyo, pinagawa ni President Marcos yung North Expressway. Dapat kumita na yan. Yung South Expressway, kumita ang Calabar Zone. Naging Detroit ang Santa Rosa. Detroit of the Philippines. Dumami ang mga pabrika sa Batangas. At makita nyo ang karangyaan, marami ng university, doon na nag-aaral yung mga bata. Mga Lyceum, Letran, naandun sa mga lugar na yan. Pero Central Luzon, hindi natin nagagamit, hindi ginamit ang North Expressway. Ngayon nakikita ko, dumadami ang bodega, dahil talaga napupuno. Pero nagsisiksikan pa rin tayo sa Manila. Ang daming lupa sa Tarlac, sa Nueva Ecija, sa Zambales, sa Bataan, sa Bulacan, sa Aurora. Yan dapat magamit ng bayan sa pamagitan ng paghakot ng tinatawag ng mga investor para magkatrabaho ang tao at hindi maging palaasa sa gobyerno. Pagka may airport ka, may seaport ka, madaling mag-import, mag-export. Raw material will be done fast. Yung finished product mo will go ahead in the market of the world. And we concentrate on logistics. Pwede tayong gumawa ng parang FedEx. Kung ayaw na ng FedEx sa atin, lumipat sila sa China. Nung umalis ako, lumipat sila in 2009. Nagpunta sila sa Guangzhou dahil mabagal tayo. Hindi natin nakuha yung seaport. At siyempre, binabaliti ng ang braso nila ng China. Kinaya na sila dahil malaki kami. Kung dyan kayo sa Pilipinas, hindi namin kayo papapasukin dito. Lumipat kayo dito. Ayaw sabihin ng FedExan, sinasabi kong tahasan, at kung titignan nyo yung timeline ng FedEx, nakita nagkakagulo ang mga leader ng SBMA at ng iba't iba ng Clark kung sino pupunta. Kung ako sana ay naandoon, sasabihin ko, ayokong gamitin nyo sana, payag ako na ang Subic Airport at Clark Airport, pareho yan dapat, at ang tinatawag nating seaport, dapat mabilis. Pareho ang seaport ng Mariveles at saka Subic para makita ninyo ang sitwasyon natin sa seaport. Papakita ko lang kayo, huwag kayong mahuhulog sa siga ninyo. Kung ako ay chairman pa ng Subic, ang pinakamalaking port operations sa Asia at sa mundo ay Hong Kong at saka Singapore. Neck and neck sila sa labanan sa paramihan ng container traffic. They had 13 million, 12 million. And at that time, the Philippines had 2 million. Remember, that's 30 years ago. At yan ngayon makikita nyo ang seaport ng Shanghai ngayon. Hindi ba ninyo mapakita? Dali lang. Kung nakita nyo na, nakikita nyo ba yung chart? Please thumbs up kung nakikita nyo. Hindi ko alam kung ano nakikita nyo. Wala? Okay. Hindi raw nakikita. Hindi ba nyo pwedeng i-share? Si-share screen natin sa ilang sandali. Ayan. Thumbs up kung nakikita nyo. Okay, nakikita na yung mga thumbs. Okay. Tingnan nyo ang Shanghai. Mayaman ang China, marami pumapasok na negosyo. In 2020, they had 43.5 million container moves. 43.5 million container. Can you imagine that? Kahon-kahon na malalaki. Singapore, kasing laki lang ng Clark Field. 36.87 million. Wow! 36.87 million. Almost 37 million. 2020 pa yan, ha? Bumaba siguro yan nung pandemic dahil bumagal ang hanap buhay, pero babalik yan. Ningbo, hindi ko narinig nung araw yan. Sushan, China, 28.7. Shenzhen, napuntahan ko yan. Napuntahan namin ang mga kasama ko sa Bongbong Marcos at saka yung ibang governor. Delegation kami ng 10th anniversary ng China-Philippine relationship. Ang Shenzhen was a fishing village. Tatatlong building pa lang ang tumatayo nung araw. Ang nag-isip niyan ay si Deng Xiaoping. At tumagawa ni Deng Xiaoping yan, yumaman pa lampas sa Hong Kong. At ang kanilang, tingnan nyo, ang Hong Kong pang-siyam, ang Shenzhen 26.55 million. Maniwala tayo sa ating pagharap at buong husay natin gawin ang ating mga pangarap. Guangzhou, China, 23.51 million. Qingdao, China, 22.1 million. Sipin nyo, panay China, Singapore, ang number 2. Bakit? Kailangan kumain ang mga kababayan natin, kapitbayan natin in check. Kaya payaman sila ng payaman, kaya lumakas sila, ginamit nila yung populasyon, ginamit nila yung kanilang edukasyon, ginamit nila yung kanilang foresight at discipline, kaya naging world power na talaga ang China. I'll give you 30 seconds to think about it. And I'll give you 30 seconds to think about it. 1 second dapat sa Pilipinas kung paano natin magpapalakas. Hindi ko sinasabing itong ginagawa natin will make it happen, but I'd like to see it start. Qingdao, China, 22 million. Busan, South Korea. Patala tayo ng sundalo dyan sa Korea. In fact, binigyan ako ng monumento ni Lapu-Lapu sa paggalang sa mga sundalo natin na namatay at nagsilbi dyan sa Korea. Parang New York, binigyan sila ng Statue of Liberty, naging malaya, nawala lahat yung naghaharing uri sa Pransya. Kaya binigay yung Statue of Liberty. Pero yumaman ang Korea, kaya ng isang organization ito magbigay ng monumento nila Lapu-Lapu na sa manlulupig, hindi ka pasisiil, nagawa nila yan. At yan ay nasa Luneta ngayon, nasa Rizal Park. Inangalan pa ako na hindi raw national hero si Lapu-Lapu. Sabi ko, yan ang unang natututuhan. But anyway, that's another topic. But Busan, we went to war in Korea, yumaman na yan ngayon. Tianjin, China naman. Hong Kong, dati 12 million ang container na. In 30 years, naging 17.9 million sila. Pero Singapore, 12 million, ngayon 36.87 million container moves. Port Klang, Malaysia, 13.24 million. Galing. Population yan wala pa atang 60 to 80 million kung hindi ako nagkakamali. I think I'd guess more in to 60 to 70 million. Tinitingnan ko yung mga EA ko nakatingin lang sa akin. Dapat pag may sinabi, dapat tinitingnan na kagad. Malaysia, ang population ay sasabihin ko sa inyo mamaya. Ho Chi Minh, Vietnam, 7.20 million. Meron silang Cam Ranh Bay. Meron silang Danang Air Force Base. Lahat yan ginagamit nila ngayon. At ang population ng Malaysia ay, ano yan? 31.9 million. Wow, ang baba pala. Mali ako. Kala ko 40. Ginawa ko pa ng 60. 31.9 million ang population ng Pilipinas ay 110 million. Ang Indonesia, siguro nasa hula na naman ako from memory, 250 million Indonesians. Yan. Kung naniwala tayo kay Juan Sistao Vincent nung araw, pinagsama ang Mapilindo, isang bansa, siguro kaya natin labanan, makipagsabayan ang China. Correction, 270.6 million ang Indonesia. So, nakakaakit ang populasyon, nakakaakit kung matatalino, nakakaakit kung maayos ang gobyerno, nakakaakit kung merong infrastructure. Bakit tayo hindi uunlad sa Central Luzon? Bakit tayo uunlad sa Negros? May mga airport, seaport dyan. Para tayo nagagawa niya mga yan? Para lang makabiyahe tayo o para magkaroon lamang ng tourism o para makaakit ng hanap buhay? Bali wala lahat ang karsada kung walang sukling mga kabuhayan yan. Pinapamayagpag lang ng mga politiko natin na magagaling naman, karamihan, ang sabihin na ako nagpagawa niyan. Pero hindi yon. Ginawa yan para sa tao. Para maproteksyonan ang kabuhayan ng tao, para may hirap ay may choice. May choice sila hindi lang sa Maynila, may choice sila hindi lang sa kanilang bayan, pero gumawa pa ng panibagong choice ng mga pabrikang lalapit dyan. So ladies and gentlemen, today we make a second stab at an attempt for prosperity. I thank everybody before. lahat ng Central Luzon. Sumabay kay Dick Gordon at sumabay ang mga local government leaders at pinakita nila ang kanilang liderato na sumuporta na magkaroon tayo ng talagang tinatawag na Central Luzon Regional Hub. Tinawag kong rich because I do not want our people to be poor. I would like to see our people to be rich, to enjoy the prosperity that our neighbors have been enjoying na napag-iwanan tayo. Sabi ko, I'm not pro-poor, I'm just pro-rich na ang mahirap maging mayaman. Kapag yung mayaman, hindi na natin dapat alagaan yan. Pag nagkaroon na ng Pfizer, libre na nirecognize natin yung Pfizer, hindi na tayo magbibigay ng bakuna sa mayayaman, kaya na lang bumili sa doktor niyan. Pero kung ikaw mahirap, ang problema natin mga Pilipino, lalo na yung mga mahirap, wala tayong pambili. Kaya konting pera, nagkakagulo na tayo. Pero kung sila ay may trabaho, dahil matuto na pag naghanap buhay ka, yung work, save, invest, prosper. Magtrabaho ka, mag-ipon ka, huwag sa alkansya. Ilagay mo sa bangko, pagkatapos pag meron ka na malaki, invest mo sa hanap buhay. Then, every Filipino will add to the prosperity of this mighty country that has not seen its future yet. Kaya kailangan natin magawa. At ako nakikiusap sa mga taga-national government dyan, makinig kayo, okay, makinig dun sa, this is not a turf war. If Clark can work with Subic, and Subic can work with Clark. If all the regional governors of can work with each other, so too can the entire country. If we can bring the responsibility and the duty to bring investments to our leaders at ang mga tao naniwala dyan, pag nagsama ang mga leader at ang tao, lalabas at galing ng Pilipino, yayaman pa ang Pilipino. And magkakaroon tayo ng respeto sa buong mundo. And so today, I will close. That is really, I'm a cheerleader. In my younger days, still am. You have to cheer our people because tayo nakayuko palagi. Gusto ko walang hiya ang tao in the sense na hindi siya nahihiya, hindi siya natatakot. So ang tao natin ay matapang, agresibo sa kabuhayan. Di tayo mananalo kung tayo palagi nakayuko, nakamakikiraan, lalagay mo yung kamay mo sa harap mo, parang gagawa ka, tatahak ka sa ere at yuko ka. All you have to do is say, excuse me, may I pass? You don't have to apologize for your station in life. And I would like one day, pagka yan ay naganap, makikita natin ang mga Pilipino ay taas noo. Sabi nga nung kanta, kahit kanino. Sapagkat they earned it like the volunteers and Subic earned it. Na nakita nila na yung kanilang pinagsikapan, nakikita ko umiiyak ng araw na makukuha namin bawat kumpanya, hindi dahil magkakatrabaho sila, nalampasan nila yon. Nagkaroon sila ng self-worth, nagkaroon sila ng pride that they were part of a great experiment that worked. Akala nyo, ako nung araw, kabado ko, ayoko matalo doon sapagkat ako susisi. No, sir. I'm ready to stake my life. I'm ready to stake my leadership is something that I believe in. And this is, again, something that I believe in and something that many of the governors, all the governors believe in. And I'm sure, pag binigay ito sa mga governor, why will we rely? Hindi ko tinitira ang DTI. Alam ito ni Mon Lopez, na ang DTI, ang dami niyong regional international trade attaches. Pag siningil ko yan tuwing budget, ilan na ipasok ng attache mo? Walang masabi halos. Pero ngayon ata, meron na dahil alam na ni Secretary Lopez at tatalagin ko palagi yan. Pag siningil ko ang tourism, ang dami-daming tourism attache, ilan na dagdag nyo ang turista sa ating bansa. Ito, hindi natin kailangan magbayad pa noon because now is a borderless world. Our people can communicate by computer anywhere in the world. They can communicate to Russia, to China. They can teach English to Japanese and Koreans and make money. They can learn yung mga sangkap na ibang bansa and put up your own fusion restaurants here in our country. The future is now. And all government has to do is create the atmosphere of equal opportunity. The atmosphere where people can go in, trade, mind for mind, work for work, effort for effort, and enjoy the blessings of their hard work and their vision. So ladies and gentlemen, ito ang bill na ito. Sinabi ko na kung ano ang mangyayari. Kailangan natin malaman ano ang composition ng board. Kailangan ba lahat ng governor meron niya? Baka maging unwieldy. The fundamental principles always na aking pinasusundan palagi, whether I'm in the Red Cross or Olongapo or wherever, is that you must be able to predict, plan, and prepare and practice. Then I expanded that to focus, fast, friendly, flexible, forward-looking. Kaya na nakafocus ka sa ginagawa mo. Kailangan mabilis ka para hindi maghihintay yung nagliligo sa bahay natin. Kailangan ikaw ay friendly, walang kurakot, matutuwa na pumasok sa iyo yan. Kailangan flexible ka. Hindi ka magdududa sa kung meron mga nakaharang, kailangan ikutan mo. And finally, you are always forward-looking. On those principles, I put all my effort in life. And that is why some people seem to think that we're very aggressive. So be it. And that is what we need to do. The noisy wheel gets the oil. Sabi nila, maingay raw ko, tokaton raw ko. Of course, God gave us a mind and He gave us our mouths and our tongues so that we can communicate. So that we can sell what we need to sell, an idea whose time has come. At kung gagawin natin to, we will be able to create our own future and the future of our country together. So there you are. We have the board. Suggestion ko dyan, the President can select 14-7 from the communities around the area. Don't have to be the governor. Nakikita ko kung magkamisan, huwag naman magagalit. May representation nga doon sa SBMA, pero ilalagay yung anak, ilalagay yung asawa. We need a professional board. We need an engineer. We need a planner, an urban planner. We need a promoter in that board. And you can get that from the provinces. It doesn't have to be a politician. I can see General Garland nodding his head because he's a professional soldier. When you go to war, you have to have the professional officership that you need to make sure that the people will follow them directly. And we can have a professional board of 7. And then para magkaroon ng coordination, we need representation sa SBMA, Aurora Economic Zone, even from government corporations group para mabilis. The only object is makaplano at pag nagawa yung plano, mabilis. Walang haharang, walang titisod. Hindi kasama si Eddie. Nasasabihin pagka nandiyan na, paano naman si Eddie? Sino si Eddie? Eddie ako. Hindi pwede yan. Kailangan talaga pagka nandiyan na yan, kailangan kung anong batas yun na susundin para mabilis tayo. I'm sharing this now para hindi tayo magkamali rito. Para hindi atin-atin ito, kanya-kanya ito. Dapat tayo lahat ang makikinabang sa pamamagitan ng mahusay na liderato dito tinatawag nating rich bills. There will be rich bills and I intend to file. Pa-file ko at sasamahan ko yung si Sani Angara dito sa Quezon at saka dito sa Region 4. Yan ang region nila. Tama natin si Win Gatchalian dito sa Region 3. At saka si Kiko Pangilinan. Kasama namin lahat siya. Sumama nung araw lahat siya mga yan. At si Amy can lead the charge sa Region 1 and even Region 2. My God, alam ba ninyo, may airport tayo. Ang taga nung umalis ang FedEx, hindi ginamit yung airport ng Subic. Ngayon lang ginagamit dahil may pandemya. That's a shame. Nakakahiya. And I'll tell you, gumawa tayo ng airport doon sa norte, doon sa Lalo. Ang ganda-ganda ng airport. Ibigay nyo na lang sa Taliban. Walang makukuha ngayon yung Taliban na papasok sa kanila. Sapagkat ganyan ang nangyari. Diyan sa Lalo, Cagayan. Kawawa naman. Walang nagpo-promote. Like I said earlier on, you can create a structure but kung walang puso ay magpapatakbo, walang vision yung magpapatakbo, talo yan. Gagawa ka ng magandang karsada pero walang investments. Sayang yung vision ng mga nakaraan. Nagawa yung Mariveles. Tumaas, tapos bumaba. Nagkanya-kanya, in-strike ng strikean, nawala lahat ang investors dahil panay-strike ang nangyari. Nung inayos namin ng mga Governor Garcia, ng mga Congressman Garcia, at nagawa tayo ng mahusay na leader, si Engineer Pineda, siya magsasabi sa inyo, pagkatapos magawa yung Freeport area of Bataan, 40,000 jobs were created right away. I'd like to see Emmanuel Pineda, I can see you. Can you push thumbs up or thumbs down? Kung totoo, mali yung sinasabi ko. There you go. So, sinasabi ko sa inyo, if it is to be, it must be up to us. And so today, kailangan alamin natin, tayo ba makikipagsapalaran o gawin na muna natin, saka natin sabihin na kailangan natin may tax credit sa mga gagawa ng bahay para mabilis makagawa ng bahay, makautang sila, yung ini-invest nila, pwede lang bawiin sa tax credit, mababang tax. Yan ay pwede natin gawin. Pero nasa sa inyo yan. Samahan nyo ako para magawa natin ang mga, wala nang incentives. Kasi sa tingin ko, babalik tayo sa incentives sa hirap na mundo ngayon. Yan ang pananaw ko. Di maaaring walang incentives. Di maaaring sabihin mo, magaganda kaming lalaki. Hindi pwede yan. Kailangan talaga magbebenta nito ang taong bayan. We commit ourselves to work hard, make the Philippines proud, make the best products, get our best educations. Yung English University, yung mga Central Luzon sa Nueva Ecija, yung mga universities yan, ang dami-dami. Yung ating mga state colleges and universities, dapat yan gagaling para may makukuhang mga magkahanap buhay na bata. Yan ang gusto ng mga negosyo. And it must be focused on just that, to create jobs as quickly as we can, so that we can get up on our feet right away. Finally, I want to say it's not too late to seek a newer world, as Tennyson said in Ulysses. Though we may not have that heart which in old days moved earth and heaven, that which we are, one we are. Kailangan one equal temper of heroic heart, made weak by time and fate, but still strong in will pagkatapos ng pandemic, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. Thank you very much, and I hope I didn't, wear out your welcome and your patience by delivering a rather extended presentation of what this bill is all about. Now it's your turn to speak, and I will entertain the senators first, of course, if they have any comments right away. Para magawa natin ang mga pangarap natin, I would need everybody's help. And I think Senator Win Gatchalian has made a reservation. He will make an opening statement. Go Win.
Thank you, Chairman, for that very inspiring speech. Pagkatapos ko po mapakinggan yung speech nyo, lalong tumibay po yung paniniwala ko dito sa batas na ito at sa inyo. I voted in favor of this bill in the 17th Congress. Unfortunately, it didn't make it as a law. But after hearing that fiery speech, sigurado pong makukumbinsi na naman po ako. Mr. Chair, I commend you for filing this bill. This is really a timely bill because of the pandemic, and we're all scrambling for investments, as you have shown in the slide. Pero meron po akong isang tampo lang ho sa inyo . Sa dami ng picture niyong pinakita, hindi niyo pinakita yung picture ko nung pumunta ako sa inyo nung 12 years old ako during the Pinatubo days. Nagatid po ako ng tulong ho sa inyo. I don't know if you still remember that during the Pinatubo.
Of course I do. You were a kid and you had the plastic cans and all that. Nagamit ng mga mama, yung mga jerry cans. Of course I do. And I have not forgotten. Don't you know the song of Barbra Streisand? Memories, tattered pictures of the smiles you left behind. Di ba?
Tama po. Thank you, Chair.
Ako sa mga girlfriend mo. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, I just have one concern, actually, and this is Section 23. And this is a sector that I have been covering for the last almost 6 years, actually. And let me just read Section 23. This is utilities and other services which may undertake and regulate the establishment, operation, and maintenance of utilities, such as electric power supply and such other services within Central Luzon, and fix just and reasonable fees, rates, and charges, and other forms of pricing in connection thereof, in accordance with existing laws, regulations, rules, and regulations. Mr. Chairman, I have some concern about this provision because of our environment right now. Number one, from my understanding of this provision, RICH will be empowered to build generation supply, transmission lines, and distribution lines. And with our current environment right now, the Philippines is operating under a deregulated environment wherein the private sector is encouraged to invest in electric power. This will run counter to the philosophy of the regulation and private entities coming into this sector. That's number one. Number two, Mr. Chairman, is the power to operate and to regulate. This will create an environment wherein RICH as an entity can operate, construct and operate, and then regulate itself. Mawawala po yung check and balance in that sense. And number three, in Central Luzon, Mr. Chairman, I looked at the number of utilities operating there. There are about 22 utilities operating in Central Luzon, of which 7 are private and 17 are cooperatives. And allowing Rich to go into the electric power industry will enable it to compete, no? Because nakasulat rin doon, it can sell its output outside of, it can sell output. No? So that goes against the philosophy of competitive neutrality, wherein government is competing with the private sector. And lastly, one of the reasons why I have this concern, Mr. Chair, is right now we're operating under a single regulatory body in the electric power industry, meaning there's only ERC that regulates everything. Enabling Rich to regulate will have a environment wherein there are 2 regulators, and that will lead to conflicts in terms of what regulatory regime should the private sector follow. Right now, ERC promulgates all the regulatory documents for the private sector to follow, and having another one might create or will create, in my opinion, because I've seen this in other jurisdictions, confusion in the electric power sector. So those are just the reasons, Mr. Chairman, and I will submit my recommendation to the committee, some suggestions, some recommendations that the committee can consider in order to further strengthen and clarify this particular provision. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Those are very precious and prescient remarks. You will recall that we did this a few years ago, and if there is that provision, we carried it over. Certainly, I'm willing to accept amendments, make it an aire libre so that people can come in, private entities. There's nothing better that I'd like to do than have private entities, but I'm also leaving something for Rich, for example. What have we done, for example, with the power plant in Bataan that never even produced a single watt? It has nuclear power. You were there. I know you've been there, right? You're very assiduous in your work na pinupuntahan mo yung mga yan. At ako hinayang na hinayang. Para tayong boulevard of broken dreams. Di ba dapat nagkaroon na dapat ng kuryente dyan na nagagawa natin. And you are more skilled and more in the know about cooperatives and powers. Without casting any aspersion, I just want to say something. 2 days ago, mabuti nandiyan ka, ilalahad ko na publicly para malaman natin kung totoo ito sinasabi ng mga nagko-complain. You're familiar with Beneco, Benguet Electrical Cooperative? Do you know that there is a problem there right now, sir?
Actually, Mr. Chairman, coincidentally, I just got an email from them just this morning around 8 a.m.
That's correct. And I'm sure now that you're aware of the problem, ang pinapasok raw ng mga malalaking backer yung patakbo ng cooperative. That's why kinakabahan ako dyan sa mga cooperatives. At saka gusto ko, siyempre, I'm a big supporter of cooperative. As you know, kami ni Mig Zubiri. And I want to make sure that the cooperatives make the money and be able to enrich their members, di ba? I'm going to research that and find out whether all these cooperatives are making money. But like I said, I like your idea. It's not cast in stone, Senator Win, and we're seatmates. You can always say, palitan natin ito para mas maganda, mas mabilis. Fine. I do have a little problem. I know you have a problem with that. Sometimes ikaw na ang government entity, ikaw pa magre-regulate. But sometimes government does go ahead in what we call greenfield. Yung walang papasok, government comes in. At yun lang kung kailangan. Pero kung ayaw ninyo yun, ang kailangan dito, katulad doon sinasabi ko sa board kanina, nang tumatango si General Garland, nakita ko na tumatango siya, kailangan mo ng promoter. Like I was also the promoter in Subic. Naibigay ko yung power plant dyan sa Enron. At ngayon, pinapatakbo na ng, I think, Aboitiz or somebody else or si Palco na Filipino Corporation. Maybe Attorney Esma of Subic can tell us kung ano nangyari dyan. But I am with you. Hindi ako tatanggi dyan sa sinasabi mo. This is not cast and so. The important thing is not to lose sight of the fact that we want speed para magawa yan. At kung mabagal tayo, kung kulang ang kuryente, tatanungin pa tayo dyan. As you know, napakamahal ng kuryente ng Pilipinas, di ba? Mas maraming kuryente siguro, baka maging mas mura kung may competition. Yan nakikita ko. I don't believe in that exactly na mangyayari yan kung marami, pero dapat talaga isipin natin kung paano natin mapapababa sapagkat kung mataas yan, we are dragging anchors. Meron anchor na nasa leeg natin, hindi tayo makatakbo kasing bilis ng iba na ang kanilang kuryente ay mura, meron silang natural energy, at yan ay ginagawa natin dito, pero yan ang ating mga dapat magawa. I will rely on you, on your suggestions, on how we can help achieve that kind of acceptance in power and utilities generation. Yung nangyari sa atin, even in Subic Water, wala namang problema, hawak ng private entity. Pero siyempre, alam niyo, magkakaroon na ng problema pag pinasukan eh. We have to understand that kailangan para lumakas ang kuryente, dapat meron silang pang-expand. Iisip ko ngayon right now, and I'll finish here, yung nangyari dito sa Ida sa New Orleans. Ang sabi sa kanila, magkakaroon pa sila ng kuryente. Be ready. You may not have power for the next for 1 month. And that is why makikita mo ang dami nilang truck, ang dami nilang gagawin dyan. At kung mangyari sa Central Luzon, dapat makabangon tayo kaagad. Meron tayong mga backup plans para hindi mamamatay yan. And maybe, who knows, we can better our infrastructure. It should be underground lines na. Wala nang poste. At para sa ganun, pag ginawa yan, yung require ng RICH sa kanilang regulatory powers, tama ka, wala kami pinapatakbong kuryente, papasok kayo dito, pag maglalagay kayo, all lines should be underground, so mas maluwag, mas aire libre, para sa ganun, makikita natin yung dapat gawin. Thank you, Senator Win. At I will await your blowout for the committee sa Lechon. Lechon. Thank you. Senator Cayetano or Senator Marcos?
I'm
Yeah?
here, Mr. Chair. Hi.
Yes, I can
Mr.
see your
Chairman,
lovely facade. Yes.
Morning. No, I was intensely listening to your opening statement, and I'll just continue to listen. I'd like to hear the resource person. So I don't have any initial statements, just observing, and then obviously, as you know, being the chairman of the Committee on Ways and Means, I'd like to be able to reconcile it as much as we can. Yun lang naman for now, Mr. Chairman.
I've always respected your ability to speak well and to listen well. And that's something that is very important to our leader. And we locked horns here on CREATE. You know, I voted against it. Yeah, but it's all right. It's a good bill, except for, we are going to face problems and we really, I think we're going to have to go back to that regime. Sometimes, ang ayoko, pag nagbago ang regime, bago na naman ang batas. Kung talagang sasabihin natin, wala nang incentive, so be it. Pero dapat, we better make our country look beautiful. As I've always said, there are
But
no...
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
so I just wanted to add that I'm a big fan of Subic and Clark, as you very well know that, no?
You go back there.
Yeah, I actually personally I love going there. The infrastructure and the environment is very conducive to a vibrant business community. But not only that, no, it really promotes a residential community so that the expats and even the local talents, I'm so happy that you mentioned the SUCs. I'm always championing them that we get from our own, no, itong mga homegrown talents natin, and they're all around the region. You said it exactly right, Mr. Chairman. So I'm happy you mentioned that. I don't know if there's some way we can strengthen that even in the bill, no, to ensure that these the SUC heads are communicating and working with our
We lost you, Senator Pia. We lost you. Tama yung sinasabi ni Senator Cayetano. We're waiting for it to come back. That it should be encouraged. I think, I found out by my experience in Red Cross or in Subic or in Olongapo or even in tourism, volunteers work really, really harder because they have it's a matter of pride to them. They earn self-worth that way. But also, of course, our rank and file, they work hard. They make our country look beautiful. A wise man once said there are no people who are ugly. They are just people who do not know how to look beautiful. I used to say the real score there was there are no ugly women. There are only women who do not know how to look beautiful. But we are now gender free, so it is up to us to make our country look beautiful. While we're waiting for Senator Pia, I will entertain questions from Senator Marcos. Are you there, Amy? Senator Amy? Okay. Are there any other senators? If there are none, the chair would be beholden to you if you would all give your comments and how we can improve the bill, how we can make it look beautiful, and be able to be implemented beautifully. You already heard one from Senator Gatchalian, which is really great. There you go, Senator Cayetano. Go ahead and continue if you're still. Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm back. But anyway, I was saying that it's very important that to the local executive, the expats, and even the managerial staff and the employees to be able to have a life in these areas. So I'm very familiar because even though I go to Subic, that community all the way, I don't know how many kilometers up, 50, 100 there.
Subic to
So
Manila
that's really
is
important. And
100,
for the record, of course,
130
not
kilometers.
even that far.
Yeah.
So I'm sure even Bulacan, Tarlac, in the surrounding provinces, they can find jobs in this area.
Of course.
But on that note, Mr. President, I'd like to end by just letting everyone know that just like Sherwin visited you at 12 years old, I visited Subic, I visited Clark, and of course EPSA with my father, EPSA administrator. So I was already in college then, 12 years old. But I got a glimpse of the importance of these foreign investments. I was actually an economics major in UP at the time. It was really an eye-opener for me. So I'll continue to learn and listen, Mr. Chairman, as you proceed with your hearing. Thank you.
Well, as you know, your father and I were together in the law firm, and we're good friends. And I miss him. And I just want you to know that you have exceeded your father's dreams for you and your brothers. Congratulations. And give my regards to your lovely mom, of course. Thank you. You know, Pia is an adopted daughter. Is it daughter, Pia? Senator Cayetano, adopted daughter ba?
Sorry, what? Adopted daughter.
In the adoption bill yesterday, you were talking about.
Yes. Yes. No, I have an adopted son.
That's right. That's right.
And we passed our Senator Risas chaired the committee where we passed our comprehensive adoption bill to make it easier for people to adopt.
That's right, and we support that because my mother adopted many kids as well. Not adopted legally, but raised them, and that's what I call poverty is an absence of choice.
Foster child.
If somebody get an opportunity like this, let us give them the opportunity without having to be adopted in the future. Give them a good education and opportunities where they can choose life. They will be able to get it done. Any questions? Thank you very much, Senator Cayetano. Thank you very much. And anybody else?
Yes, Chairman.
Yes.
Can I have some comments after your starting speech? Yeah. Okay. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Weidi Wang. I'm the president of SPDMC from the Subic Free Port Zone.
Willie Wang. Yes.
Yes. Good morning, Senator.
I can't see you.
First of all, by looking at the draft of the bills, it seems to us that in terms of tax incentive, it will provide better and a more favorable investment environment to the existing and new investor from home or from overseas. Therefore, we certainly welcome the bill and I hope it can become a law as soon as possible. And secondly, in the meantime, we really hope that this bill can supersede or replace the create law, which has been creating a lot of confusion and concern so far. Particularly, it seems not to be favorable to the new investors as well as the current locators. FDIs become hesitating to come until this concern can be actually clarified and removed. And last point is, this is also very important too. We hope in this new bill, they should not be selective of preferable investment. And we hope that the scope can be largely widened. As long as the investors of establishment being registered in the free port zone or special economic zone and be able to create the job opportunities, particularly during this trying time to the local community or region, they should be eligible to enjoy all the incentives and tax holiday as provided from this bill. So I hope this, because those investment or business has been specified in section 14 of this bill, of this draft. We hope somehow this can be changed a little bit. Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Chairman.
Mr. Wang is the representative here, the head of TICO in the Taiwan zone, and I'm always grateful to the Taiwanese because they gave us hope, as we did before when their big neighbor was threatening to invade Taiwan before in Kemoy Matsu. We were kids in school. We were praying the rosary for the Taiwanese because they were being bombarded at the time. And then when we lost the bases, the Taiwanese came to the rescue right away and believed in what we were doing. They didn't do it as a favor. Everything is business, as you know, but they knew that we were committed to making Subic succeed. And so today, I think the main thrust and is that we have to be clear. Many problems occur because of poor communication. So CREATE has got to do a better job of communication because it is appearing that it can be very selective on who gets the grant of incentives. If I got that correct, kung naintindihan ba ng mga possible investors natin na yung ibibigay na incentives ay uniform, na hindi na sila kailangan magtanong, malinaw. So kailangan talaga hindi malabo, malinaw yung sasabihin na kung ito ang incentives dito, ito ang bibigay natin. So, well, we will have to take it up with the Department of Finance who are here. But I just don't want you to take it as if it is a criticism. It is a perception. It is something that we want to fix so that we can get more investments. Any comments from the Department of Finance or the matter of investments or FIRB, FIRD?
Mr. Chair?
Yes, please.
Yes, I am Maria Teresa Habitan, Assistant Secretary of the Department of Finance. Good morning, Chair. We, you know what the principles of the Department of Finance has always been before with regard to this bill, and our opposition before has always been an objection in principle. And it's because we wanted to really be following the principles that we want as encompassed in the CREATE bill, which Congress has recently passed. We took a look at I think we received the latest version of the RICH bill about an hour before the hearing. And we note that the incentives provisions that are now there in the bill almost closely parallel those in CREATE. And for that, we welcome such a development, Your Honor. We, however, would like to be clearer in the way that the incentives provision are worded, and perhaps if there's going to be a TWG for this, we would like to be able to propose some wording that could be similar to incentives provisions that we have in similar bills, Your Honor. And that would really make it
So sure.
very clear that registered business enterprises within a zone like the rich may avail of tax incentives subject to the provisions of Title 13 or tax incentives of the National Internal Revenue Code. So the reference is very clear, Your Honor.
Is there because we have removed practically all the incentives, right? And you would like to sit down and clarify further what you'll suggest. By the way, I'd let you know that last night when I saw this, I said, alisin nyo na yan. I want this bill passed. Nail it down, we'll fix it later. Pag na-approve na yan, then we'll see how it works and we can always go back to Congress and make it happen. Kung may kulang, punuan, kung sobra, bawasan. To me, that's we have to move fast. I'm sure you'll agree with me na kailangan natin magkaroon ng mga trabaho yung mga tao natin para sa ganun magawa. And I will take you up on that. I hope that you will give us your comments. There will be a TWG. I don't know if I will have another extra hearing, but there will be definitely a TWG. I think TWG na ito, napasa na ito ng both Congress. Yan ang mga incentives naman ang inaalala ng Department of Finance. And like I said, saka na tayo mag-finance. Kung may mali kami, may mali kayo, I will give you absolutions and you can give me absolutions as well. Kaya nga, nung araw, tinatanong, does anybody know what finance means? Ang sabi ni Gary Lising, finance, Father, is one of the 7 sacraments. So I'm using that in that context. Dalawa yon in that context. So, sino nagkamali? Kung hindi tayo nagbigay ng incentives, magbabayad tayo. Kung magbigay tayo ng incentives sa sobra, magbabayad tayo. So, kailangan talaga ayusin natin. But you must never lose sight of the fact na trabaho ang kailangan natin. Opportunities, equal opportunities ang kailangan natin. Kaya nagmamadali talaga ako dito. Go ahead. Would that be satisfactory to you, Marites, or Asek, Habitan?
We will provide our input, Your Honor, during the TWG.
Better TWG na para mano-mano na makita natin kagad, di ba?
Sige po.
Okay, sige. And if I have a chance, I will participate. Pero kayo na muna yan. Pero patagal pa kasi. Gusto ko mabilis eh. Go ahead. Who's next? Anybody else have a comment?
Mr. Chairman, Greg Pineda, Assistant Secretary of NEDA. May I, Mr. Chairman?
Greg Pineda, where are you? Yeah, Casino. Okay.
Yes, sir. Also, with the comment, along with the comment of Asek Habitan, the position of NEDA also is that the tax incentives under the REITs bill must be totally aligned also with the CREATE incentives, Mr. Chair. And in addition, yes, Mr. Chair. In addition,
it has been adjusted already. So let's move on. I know you work with, what's his name? Your NEDA manager who's working with my classmate, Sunny Dominguez. Sino? Si?
Secretary Chua.
Yes, Carl.
Yes,
Sige. I know your position. Go ahead.
Yes, in addition, Mr. Chair, it is noteworthy that the draft substitute bill has already considered the previous suggestion during the last technical working group discussion in October of 2020. That is the definition of the territory of the hub. In particular, Mr. Chairman, Section 5.g of the substitute bill now provides that the geographical boundaries of the areas to be developed as new special economic and free-port zones shall be clearly identified to avoid overlap and encroachment with the existing special economic and free-port zones. However, Mr. Chairman, we have also observed that as raised during the first public hearing and the TWG discussions last year, the proposed REITs will impinge on the mandates of the existing economic zones and free-port authorities, such as the BCDA, SBMA, CDC, the APECO, and AFAB, TIESA, and PESA, and national government agencies, local government units, and regional and local development councils. Also, may we reiterate the policy instance of the Cabinet Economic Team, Mr. Chairman?
Excuse me.
Mr. Chairman.
I don't mean to cut you up. I just want to answer point by point. You say it's going to impinge on other economic zones. Precisely. If they can choose which regime. That's my thinking. If they're near Zambales or Bataan, they can choose between Subic, even Clark. Pare-pareho naman yung kanilang GIE at saka pare-pareho lahat yan, di ba? Halos, Attorney Esma, am I correct? Manny, am I correct? Manny Pineda? General Gardan? In other words, it will make it faster. At least understand that while you can create a new corporate entity, doon dadaan, hindi basta-basta mangyayari yan eh. Alam niyo kung bakit? Maraming gustong pumasok, hindi na alam kung sino kakausapin. Pinakamabilis, may experience na yung Clark Business Bureau nila, yung Subic Business Bureau, pinakamabilis pumasok doon. Now, kung maglalagay tayo, ito sasabihin ko, tatanungin ko ang DNR ngayon, yung kukunin mga lupa niyan, may expropriation proceeding pa yan, o kaya yung mayor ng lugar, meron silang lupa, o kaya ang DNR may mga available land, o yung DNR agrarian reform. Hindi ito basta-basta mangyayari, because kailangan magtabi. Ang alam ko, ang Bataan, di ba, AFAB, lumalabas na kayo sa AFAB, di ba, Engineer Pineda?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman. We have been allowed by virtue of the amended charter to expand to anywhere within Bataan.
Correct.
Before,
Yeah.
it's only exclusively within Mariveles.
Ayan, correct. And as you know, there are some people I sent over who wanted to get 300 hectares for a zone, and they would have made masks, face masks, before the pandemic pa yan, And because hindi tayo nakakasa, hindi tayo nakabunod. So, NEDA Director Pineda, please be conscious of that fact, all right? Walang infringement or impingement, kamo ganon. Ang sinasabi mo, ibig sabihin, walang intrusion sa domain ng may domain. Precisely, that's what happened. And if I quote you, FedEx, yung kanilang sinasabi ng araw, ang sinabi nila yung away ng mga Clark, ng Subic, sila nag-aaway, hindi magkaintindihan. Wala na ako noon nakadagdag yan sa pag-alis ng FedEx. Tingnan mo yung timeline ng FedEx nung araw. Hinahanap ng staff ko, papakita ko sa inyo. Go ahead. Ano pa yung isang concern mo, Director Pineda?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. And last point, maybe also reiterate the policy instance of the Cabinet Economic Team, the NEDA, the Department of Finance, and the Department of Budget and Management as related to the Senate and House of Representatives in a joint letter dated August 2, 2019 on the creation of new government bodies, Mr. Chairman. The policy of the administration is to rationalize the organization and functions of government agencies to improve delivery of public services. And for new government corporations, they should be evaluated based on a cost-benefit analysis. Also, there should be a careful determination of whether the proposed new government entity can meet the desired objectives and actually produce better outcomes, Mr. Chairman. And that's all, Mr. Chairman, but we'll be formally submitting NEDA's comments to your office, Mr.
I
Chairman.
don't want to. I'm not stinging. I don't want to be preached on, but it sounded like you're preaching to us. Lahat ng zone na na-create, dapat singilin nyo ngayon pa lang. May mga zone na kinreate. Ginawa nyo yung create bill na wala lahat ng incentives. Hindi ba dapat ang posisyon natin? Pag hindi nyo magawa yan, then you go to Congress and say, pull out their charter because sayang, ibalik nyo na lang sa local government or national government. Kaya nga sinasabi mo kanina, mag-i-infringe, tapos sabihin mo ngayon, pag nag-create kami, maghinay-hinay kayo dahil ayaw namin nag-create kayo ng create, tapos wala naman nangyayari. If you look back at the boulevard of all these broken dreams, lahat nagkaroon ng Freeport, lahat gusto ng special economic zone, hindi namin kasalanan nyo, kasalanan ng national government yan, na hindi nyo sinita, na kung hindi, if you don't produce, you're out. Diba? O halimbawa, sitahin kita. Ano nangyari sa Lalo Airport? Sitahin kita, bakit yung Subic International Airport ngayon lang nagamit? Hindi pa kayo kumukuha. Samantalang nagamit na namin yan nung panahon ko. Lumalanding na mga chartered flights dyan. So dahan-dahan kayong magsalita because ibabalik ko sa inyo yan. Lalo, I have a picture of Lalo. Nung dumating ako dyan na bagyo about couple of years ago, butas ka agad yung mga salamin. Hindi pa nagagamit, wasak na. So do not preach to us about gagawa na naman kayo ng zone. Teka muna. Sige, bigyan mo sa akin at aayusin natin. Kayo. Sino ang mga zone na gusto nyong isara? That's the way, I'm sorry, that's the way I got it. You know, I'm not too fond of central government authority. The late Emilio Osmeña and I used to call it Imperial Manila. You must always listen to local governments and local communities because closer is better. I've been fighting for this. I even became regional CORD ang panahon ni when I was Secretary of Tourism for Region 3. And you can ask the people there at the time I've been saying this. Because sayang, shall I charge you with the fact na hindi nyo ginagamit yung airport ng Clark, yung airport ng Subic, yung airport ng Manila nandyan. Do you know that when I got FedEx, I brought UPS to Clark and I brought DHL. Nagpunta pa sa akin si Larry Hillblom. Sabi niya, we want to go to Subic. Sabi ko, Larry, I'm sorry. God rest his soul. I didn't even recognize him because he was wearing a t-shirt and maong and Senator Shahani just left. And I shook hands with the guy with the shirt and tie. I'm sorry, sir. I'm not the boss. The boss there is the guy with glasses and t-shirt and rubber shoes. Sabi niya, sir, I want to go into Subic. Sabi ko, I will, refer you to Clark or Manila. Because isa lang ang runway ko. Clark could have 2 runways in the future. And Manila is a good runway. And, they all went to us because of our central location. They computed it. They put it on a computer. O ngayon, nawala lahat. Nilamon tayo ng China. O, anong gagawin niyo ngayon? Anong kapalit? O, nawala yung Hanjin. Naghihintay kami hanggang ngayon, di pa nasa-settle sa banks. How many people lost their jobs in Hanjin? 27,000. Kung iaasa ko lahat sa central government, patay-patay tayo. You understand where I'm coming from? I'm coming from a mayor that was there for 11 to 12 years. And we fixed up Subic by ourselves. And I'm tired of listening. I listen with respect. Bigyan nyo kaming le-lecturean. Gawa. Ba't di nyo pinapara? Kung hindi nag-work, ba't tayo nagsusweldo ng mga taong hindi nagtatrabaho? Diba? Ba't tayo maglalagay sa budget? Andiyan ang government corporate, yung government ang tawag doon, GOC, government corporations. What do you say, Mr. Samuel Dagpin? Ilan ang mga zones na ginawa na hindi nagtatrabaho? You should be able to make a recommendation, don't you think so?
Your Honor, Sir Chairman,
Yes.
based on the DCG law, it's not really part of our jurisdiction, except BCDA. And
No, but you are oversight of the government sa mga corporations, di ba? Government corporations, di ba?
yes, sir. But based on the DCG law, export processing zone is not under DCG, except appointment 1/3.
But
So we don't monitor their performance.
let me point out, you check their performance. You check whether they're giving dividends to the government. Is that correct?
Yes, but under the GCG law, it's not export processing zone is not under GCG. Only 1/3 of their appointment.
Yes,
But
Director Sammy.
no oversight as to their performance.
Yes, oversight is part of that. If they're not performing, they're not giving money back to the government. If they're not creating the employment, you would have a very large say in saying, pagsabihan ng NEDA, pagsabihan ng local government, kung local government ang nagpapatakbo naman, pagsabihan ng presidente, oy, kung di kayo kakikilos yan, you're in danger of being extinct. Why would we
Yes,
create
Chairman.
white elephants? Lugi ka dun eh. Yung mga tao mo, imbis na yung sweldo mapunta sa eskwela, imbis na magamit yung budget doon sa magpuproduce, pinapasan natin. Yan ang problema. Yan ang tinatawag na political will na pagka hindi umaandar, kunyan, dapat sasabihan sila. I'm not lecturing you. I just I'm reacting to the statement of Mr. Pineda na let me remind you that meron kaming directive, meron kaming kuha na huwag kayong gagawa ng anong ginagawa niyo doon sa hindi nagtatrabaho ngayon? Meron ba kayong recommendation, Director Pineda?
there are other oversight agencies, Mr. Chair, to look after that. But
Excuse me?
it can be subject of further study. But it's recommendation on the cost benefit analysis, among others, and the position of the economic team submitted to
sorry.
Congress, Mr.
I'm
Chairman.
sorry, I did Subic without a Harvard degree, like your boss. I never even got to the United States to study. But we created jobs in Subic. And I use Harvard boys, I use Stanford boys, I use Harvard girls, I use UP, and I use that. I said, lahat ng mga degrees ninyo sa akin ay props. You are there to show the country that even if you're from Harvard, you can work a difference for our country. And they like that because I was teasing them. And so, bago tayo magsalita na ganon, kung merong problema ang gobyerno, national government yan, gawin nyo na. I'm not trying to pick a fight with you. I'm just saying, may problema. Huwag nyo ako sabihan dito na gagawa na naman kayo. Parang ganon ang sinabi mo eh. We are the Congress. We make the policy for business and commerce, etc. All right? I hear you, and I will listen
Yes,
to you.
we understand, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for your understanding. That's comfortable to hear. I was going to say cold comfort, but I don't think I want to slight you. Anybody else? Is that all your comments, Mr. Pineda? Sounds like the comment kasi ng mga boss eh. Go ahead, General Garland. Manny?
Thank you, sir. Magandang umaga po.
Magandang umaga po.
Chairman, yes, sir. Sir, meron po akong maliit na humble recommendation. Central Luzon is fastly becoming a highly urbanized region. And in the future po, ang recommendation ko sana, instead of just Central Luzon, why not make it Greater Central Luzon area so that other nearby provinces like Pangasinan, Benguet, and La Union, where these provinces are very critical for our food security, Mr. Chairman.
That's correct.
Yung kanilang resources po ay eventually would benefit Central Luzon. So, yun po ang aking humble recommendation. Baka po pwedeng gawing Greater Central Luzon area.
Tama po yun. Pero ito kasi napasa na. Pero makikita nyo sa bill, may language na ginawa dyan. If you look at the preliminary paragraphs, yung objective, ewan ko kung nagawa ng staff ko kagabi. Tinatrabaho namin ito kagabi. Ako, I had to crash already about 2 o'clock. Sila nagtrabaho pa. That's why I really respect my staff, no? They work very, very hard and they get a lot of heat from me. But tama yung sinasabi mo, General Garland. But ang nakalagay dyan, we should pave the way to make other regional, so we can have Region 1, Pangasinan, San Fernando, meron Poro Point, di ba? Meron tayo sa Pangasinan, gagawa na rin ng airport dyan, kung di ako nagkakamali. Meron mga, ang kanyan agriculture, seafood, agriculture, tapos La Union, and then Ilocos Sur, yung industries na sa mga Ilocano, ng Pangasinan, you can do that. At saka mahilig sa education ng mga tao dyan di ba? So, it's a natural. Now, I will get in touch with them before we draft this bill. Kausapin kayo mga governor, kung gusto nila sumakay na dito, you can call it greater. Pero mamaya, baka magkaroon ng politics ng turf. That's what I don't like. Kailangan merong sariling regional zone because leave them to do their own devices para magawa yan. Pag hindi na nagawa, hindi masisisi national government. Sila dyan na naandyan. Kaya naandyan rin sila sa mga board, ng mga local government officials. But I like your idea and we'll see whether we can make that work. I promise you. We'll take
Salamat
note.
po.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? Please feel free to make your suggestions.
Mr. Chairman, I think this was already also slightly discussed by Vice Chair Senator Gatchalian a while ago. But I just like also to make of record that the ERC also is in the process of submitting a position paper containing its comments on the subject bill. But Your Honor, Mr. Chairman, if I may just discuss it briefly during this morning's hearing po.
Are you talking about I am not strong about that. I already told Secretary Gatchalian, Senator Gatchalian. And
Okay.
if you have suggestions, make your suggestions and we will write it down. I want to finish this right away so we can decide on TWG. If you want to make a presentation, that's fine with me, but make it quick because I want to hear the rest of the other people.
Actually, Mr. Chairman, we are already also submitting our comments in through our letter that I think it's just waiting for the signature of our chairperson. But it's also just on the jurisdiction of the ERC as a regulator and how this will interact with the existing laws that are already in place, vesting the jurisdiction over the regulation of utilities in the um, eco zones that were created under SB 1549. But Your Honor, these are all discussed naman po thoroughly in our paper. So you can just refer to that when it is submitted to the committee.
Anyway, we'll have a TWG. Para malinis talaga ito, no? And I appreciate that you're wanting to work, that that you want to come out with your written comments. Ako, reading letters from bureaucracy, gusto ko nako-confront ko yung tao. Ayan ang sinulat ko, boss. Pag-usapan natin. Sabi ko, sige, paliwanag mo sa akin in your own words para malaman ko kung ano talaga ang ginagamit. Walang constraints. So,
Yes, sir.
TWG would be best. Okay?
Okay, sir. We will be actively participating in that. Thank you, sir.
I'm glad you will be. To the General Garland, makita mo ito sa clerk, no? This act asserts an overarching strategy for post-COVID-19 pandemic recovery of all regions of the Philippines. It begins with Central Luzon as an eminent engine for economic empowerment. Sabi mo nga, nagiging highly urbanized na Central Luzon. Pero marami pa rin kulang ng mga regions dyan, no? Even Aurora, even Zambales to a certain extent. Magkakanya-kanya yan Zambales is sleeping. They've got a great mango and a lot of other seafood development there. But ang maganda dyan pag nagawa pa yung Hanjin, na I hope they're on the right track. Can you imagine, I'm the senator, I'm not even contacted by the national government authorities. Kaya nagiging allergic ako I'm the senator there, and one of these days, they'll hear a privilege speech. Ano ginagawa nyo? Merong national security dyan, at saka merong trabaho na nawala dyan, hindi nyo kami kinukonsulta, di pa paano kayo makakapasa? So, yun ang sinasabi ko lang. At kita nyo dito, of all regions, it begins with Central Luzon as an eminent engine, encouraging immediate domestic and foreign investments there too. Maximizing ito yung mga, its existing interconnected revenue multiplying and job generating infrastructure such as highways. Ilan ang highways sa Central Luzon? Chairman Garland, di ba? Meron niyang NLEX, Olongapogapan Highway, SCTEX, Triplex, meron pa tayo sa Cabanatuan, right? Meron pa ginagawa from Bulacan to Southern Luzon, right? So we must take advantage of all of this para for development, hindi yung this is a project of so and so. Dapat makikita na nagagamit siya mga infrastructure na yan. In the corridors, you'll see in the corridors all the industrial parks. And I've been to when I was Subic in my earlier life, I would see that in America na malalayo yung factories malapit sa highway, malayo sa mga kabayanan para hindi magkakaroon ng traffic. Kompleto na sila, meron na sila doon ng mga schools, mga churches and even malls. So, lalabas ka doon sa isang lugar ng expressway, meron kang bayan na may sariling community na may sariling economic development plan, no? So, ito, building a prosperous tax base, yan ang number one. Pagka nagkaroon tayo ng investments, may trabaho. Pag may trabaho, may pambayad ng tax. I don't have to tell you that. I would be condescending. Upskilling a young, inventive, and energetic labor force and consolidating efforts to a unified vision of leadership and blueprint, guaranteeing swift socio-economic mobility of proactive stakeholders, sustained humanitarian and ecological development, and international socio-economic excellence of the Philippines in a post-pandemic world. The vision is really magkaroon tayo lahat na nilagyan ng infrastructure. Kung gusto nila, they can have a regional infrastructure development zone, no? So, yan ang vision. Now, kung papayag na magsama yung dalawang region, that would be great. Let's be flexible, as I said. Focus, fast, friendly, flexible, and forward-looking.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else? Ako, ganyan lang ako. Huwag niyo akong intindihin na parang, ano ko eh. Gusto ko kasi maintindihan lahat ng yung vision para we can all sign up on it. By the way, I credit that objective, yung very worthy and very explanation of the objectives to my San Beda lawyer and my Ateneo lawyer and my San Sebastian lawyer. Napuyat yung mga yan kagabi. And that's the degree
Mr.
of trust that I give to them para mailabas natin. Anyway, we can correct it and fine-tune it later on.
Mr.
Anybody
Chairman,
else? Yes,
Administrator Pineda.
Yes, of course.
AFAB. Yeah, good morning, Mr. Chairman, and it's a pleasure to be part of this committee hearing. And we thank you for your unstoppable efforts.
Yeah, we have to be relentless. Mahirapan ang
Birthday
tao.
greeting to you. We are very happy that we are on the same page in terms of applying the 4F principle that you have been mentioning.
5 Fs.
Being
5 Fs.
Yeah. Being focused, being friendly, fast, and forward-looking. That said, Mr. Chairman, I vividly recall that when you visited the Freeport area of Bataan, you were moved into tears when you saw the realization of your vision to create gainful employment. When we visited that 1 hectare area of standard factory building that has been manufacturing luxury bags for export. And with that in mind, we would like to offer some comments and recommendations humbly for your consideration.
Of course.
Particularly on the aspect of coming up with effective and efficient one-stop shop approach. In particular, referring to Section 11, Paragraph E, wherein there will be the avenue of forum for disputes insofar as labor issues are concerned. We would recommend and suggest humbly that the matter be resolved giving priority to the respective labor centers of the investment promotion agencies. If you may recall, Mr. Chairman, the AFAB law, which you authored at the Senate, provides that we have our own labor center. And it has been effectively working vis-a-vis the Department of Labor and Employment, such that before any issue or labor disputes are raised to the Department of Labor and Employment, it is first resolved at the level of the AFAB through its labor center. So we find this very effective, and it prevents any redundant avenues for those that have other agenda to disrupt industrial peace in the Freeport. So we would like to submit, Mr. Chairman, that we maintain that the disputes be resolved within the respective labor centers of the investment promotion agencies. And secondly, insofar as the responsibilities of the LGUs, Mr. Chairman, referring to Section 13, the granting of the LGUs power to provide dedicated and streamlined processing services for licenses and permits, hopefully would be worded so that it would not be misconstrued as a recognition of their authority to grant permits and licenses that are otherwise in the ambit of the IPA. For example, inside the Freeport area of Bataan, it has been very clear that all business permits are issued by the authority, and it's actually a separate territory vis-a-vis the local government unit. So maybe we can just word this that it should be clear that any other permits necessary for the enterprises and businesses that would operate and locate within the Freeport will be assured of a streamlined process by the respective LGUs. Mr. Chairman, we received the revised draft of the bill just this morning, and we have a few other comments which we will just submit through a letter, a formal letter to your honorable office, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Manny. Let's just if I was moved to tears there, it was because all the new employees were so thankful that they finally had jobs. I remember there were even Muslims there.
Yes, sir.
I was really deeply touched, and people all the way from Quezon found jobs there because there are no jobs in Quezon. I know what it means for somebody to get a job, and they would travel many, many miles away to find their future, hopefully in our own country. And many of our countrymen have to find their future in foreign shores. And that's why I work very, very hard. Tatrabaho talaga ako na makakuha ng trabaho ang mga tao. So, there is no egotistic situation here. If I sponsored and I authored the bill, you remember the history of that bill. May
Yeah.
mga tao pang kumukontra sa inyo nung araw, I faced them squarely. Sisigawan sila, diretso ko sila. Gagawin natin ito, makikita nyo, matutuwa kayo. And when I got back, natuwa talaga ako. Talaga dahil yung mga tao doon, sila na nagkukwento sa akin. So, I'm a very, very soft heart, soft touch. Pero ganun yun eh, ganun yun eh. And I'm sure you all have, you have that feeling na, because nung yung sinasabi mo sa Subic, galing naman lahat sa Subic yung natutuhan ko dyan from experience. Alam ni Ami, Ace mo yan, you know, I used to talk with the employees every time when they're all hired and they were about to be badged, and we tell them what their role is in development. Kaya yung sinasabi mong labor center, we have the one-stop labor center there also. We'll see whether we should incorporate all the specific details, but we can have a template, and I will certainly listen to your suggestions. You have that in Bataan, we have that in Subic, and I'm sure you have it in Clark as well. May labor center tayo. Ano? Yung nga sinasabi ko, not everything can be micromanaged by central government. And the best way to really move faster is let the local communities find their own future. Uh, Anybody else? So we will wait for your comments, and at the same time schedule a TWG right away. Yes, Attorney Esma, did you want to say something? Chairman
Senator Gordon?
Esma of Subic.
Yes, sir. Yes, Senator Gordon, magandang umaga po and thank you for the opportunity. If any, I just would like to offer the unwavering support of the Subic Bay Metropolitan Authority to the RICH bill, to the point that our board of directors have issued the board resolution number 2011-1819 in November 10, 2020. Ang pananaw po ng Subic dito is RICH is very important because not only will it help us directly economically, but it will also cushion the impact of COVID-19, which is now even worse when we first discussed this in 2020. And hindi po namin ito nakikita as competition for SBMA, but rather a complementary effort because all the businesses that will be attracted by RICH will be taking advantage of the existing infrastructure of not only of SBMA but also of Clark and AFAB. And it's a very desirable triangle where Rich will be in the middle, while Clark, Subic, and AFAB interconnects in more ways than one. The airport, the seaport, labor source, and all other expertise that are already in place because of the many years of experience in SBMA, in Clark, and in Bataan. Hindi rin po namin ito kino-consider na kompetensya in a sense that as long as an investor comes into the Philippines is already a win for all of us, irrelevant whether it goes to Central Luzon or even in Visayas and Mindanao, because we all badly need jobs at this point. And I think, and as we all know, moving on in the many years to come, because of the bad impact or the huge impact that COVID has done to our economy. So we will actively participate po in any of the TWGs, and as I have mentioned to the staff, please feel free to reach out to us should there be a need to brainstorm or get more ideas or suggestions based on our experience on the ground. Kasi po, napakahirap, and I'm sure dalawang Sir Manny ko from Clark and AFAB will confirm that the locators or investors and businessmen has all these varying concerns, from tax holidays to how CREATE is going to be implemented. It has been a very difficult road that we are treading at the moment. And sana nga po the fallout that we experience, especially now in COVID, will even be addressed by Rich even more and attract more investors, not just to the Triangle but to the country. Yun lamang po, marami pong salamat.
Well, I've always said, I learned after high school and even strengthened in college, strengthened in my political life and service to our country, na dapat talaga Pilipino muna tayo bago yung ating ethnic background. Pilipino muna tayo bago Ilocano, Pilipino muna tayo bago tayo Bisaya or whatever. Because when we act as a team, we're best. Walang tatalo sa atin. Because magagaling tayo eh. At maabilidad tayo. Kaya natutuwa ako na sinasabi mo yan. Kanina may nagsabi rin yan, sino ba nagsabi kanina na yung concern niya na nilabas niya na talagang dapat yung mga tao sa labas nito hindi isipin na hiwalay. I remember when I was first chairman of Subic, yung mga kaibigan ko si Batara, na-insecure sila. Sa amin yan. Ganun ang usapan eh. Wala eh. Pag nawala ka na, ano sa amin? Ang may-ari niyan tao, yung makikinabang. Hindi, we're not there for paternity. Nakakatakot yung paternity because ang nangyayari, maraming illegitimate children ang nangyayari pagka gano'n. So, ang sinasabi ko lang is, let's just think of the community first before everything else, and I'm glad you made mention of that fact because that's the way we must act. So, let's go into the one. Ang concern ko lang, halimbawa, mamaya magiging issue dyan, sharing, ha? Yung sharing ng mga provincial governments and mga ganyan, yung palagi iniisip. And hindi ko naman masisi sila. Siyempre, gusto rin nila may sharing. Ang gusto ko maalis, halimbawa nung Hanjin nung araw, nakuha natin yan, pahirapan. Wala ka pa nun sa Subic, Ami, Chairman Esma. Nando kasama kita nung bata. And you rose to be a lawyer and you've listened to be chairman of SBMA after your stint at a very major global corporation. Let me just say that ayoko mangyari yung nangyari nung araw. Yung Hanjin magtatayo sana sa Cagayan de Oro. May dalawang mayor doon, ang inisip kagad si Eddie. Pag pumunta ka rito, akin yung graba, akin yung mga bata ko, ipapasok ko dyan, doon tayo namamatay. And pagka kinausap mo na yan ganyan, believe you me, sa dami ng kinausap kong negosyo ng lalo ng mga Hapon, napaka-allergic sila dyan. Saka yung peace and order, napaka-allergic ng mga Hapon dyan. They want to be safe. So, lahat yan, kakailanganin natin ang support ng lahat. So, I advise Subic and Clark and all of you, mitingin nyo na yung mga tao natin unti-unti para madala doon sa kanyang pag-iisip na pagka may nangyaring ganyan, at least lalakas lalo because if more people have money to buy, walang problema eh. May pambili sila eh. So, yun ang gusto ko sabihin, no? At saka yung mga alam ko magkakaroon tayo ng konting problema sa revenue stream. So, yung mga existing zones na nagbibigay ng revenue sa mga syudad, ako ang feeling ko dyan wala namang ginawa, let's say, even yung bayan natin, hindi ko nakikita kung saan nadadala yung pera. Kaya kailangan gusto ko makita, I don't want to bring politics here, no? But I want to see na pagka may binigay na pera, talagang makikita ko saan dadalhin. May proposal, di ba? Hindi entitlement. So maybe that's one of the things you can put up, and I'm ready to. We're very liberal. All the governors support this. All the mayors supported it. I don't know of anybody who objected to it. But we'll yung mga representatives ng governors na andyan, magsalita kayo para malaman natin kung anong gusto yung mangyari dyan. Alright? Meron ba? Yes, dear.
May I, Mr.
Lovely
Chairman?
glasses. By the name of Tipo, Attorney EMB Region 3.
Yes, well, good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. I am Attorney Gloria Diana Duluan for EMB Region 3. As a matter of fact, Mr. Chairman, we indeed support the objective of this proposed bill, that is to accelerate economic growth, at the same time to provide jobs for our fellow Filipinos. However, Mr. Chairman, we cannot deny that with the increased number in industries, it will often lead to negative effects, especially impact to the environment, such as air pollution, water pollution. So with that, Mr. Chairman, we understand that the bill itself recognizes the range of environmental impact towards water and air, and even waste management, among others. But we have a concern, Mr. Chairman, particularly Section 6, letter S, on the powers of the REACH, wherein it provides here that the REACH has power to adopt, implement, and enforce ecological and environmental standards and measures for environmental pollution control and management in areas under its jurisdiction. This provision, Mr. Chairman, do we find it too broad and is vulnerable for multiple interpretations, as our existing environmental laws, such as the Clean Water Act and Clean Air Act, already vested with the EMB the responsibility to implement and enforce the law, such as the issuance of discharge permits, permit to operate air pollution control sources, and installations. So our concern with this provision, Mr. Chairman, is that may we also clarify or seek clarification if the intention of the bill is to divest sole authority or exclusive authority to the REACH with respect to all pollution laws, such as the Clean Water Act and Clean Air Act, or would it be like the EMD will be exercising oversight function over REACH? So we would like, all right, so in short, Mr. Chairman, may we know the extent or the scope of the implementation and enforcement power of the REACH?
Gloria, have you ever seen the law that created the BCDA? Have you ever read it? Have you ever read the BCDA law?
Yes, pa, Mr. Chair.
I mean, what's the number? Republic Act number 7227 ba?
7227, sir. 7227.
All right. If you look at SBMA law, I think there are only 3 or 4 provisions on SBMA. And Clark is just treated as another special economic zone until I created a Freeport out of it, and Mariveles was not even it, and I authored the Freeport of Mariveles. All of them, in their rules and regulations, clarifies your concerns. Clarify your concern. When we did Subic, from those 3 or 4 provisions of the law, we worked with the World Bank, and that's what I intend to do here, or work with you. You were represented, environment, and nobody is more concerned about the environment than Subic. You still have the triple canopy forest of Subic. Have you been there?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, but I was never been in Subic.
You've never been to Subic?
Yes, I'm sorry. I apologize. Yes.
And you're in Energy Management Board. Come on. Environment and Management Bureau, right?
I understand, but I'm new with the agency, Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman.
but I mean, even then, a lot of young people went there. But
Yeah.
you know,
Yes, I will be
we created. What I'm trying to say is, we created our rules and regulations with the World Bank, and in the process, uh, we uh, we were able to maintain the cleanliness, the integrity of the environment. The forests remain. We're even very strict when people go fishing there. You have to catch only a certain size of fish, or you have to return it, and it's only for consumption. Ah, ako mismo nanghuli ako ng spearfishing, mga gwardiya pa ng Subic. Napakulong sila. Nakita namin sa kabilang ibayo, inaakit yung likod, pinuputol ang kahoy. Pinuntahan namin yan at nahuli namin. May namatay pa nga doon nung naghuli yan eh. My point is, the local community should really be worried and should really take care of it. But you cannot, I'm saying it will always be, we will always be following national laws. But when you make a special law, kung ang intention natin is to make it more, mas madaling pumasok, mas madaling makipag-usap yung mga foreign investors, you can have oversight functions over that, like Congress has an oversight function. And I'll let Attorney Aishma answer the question para magulat siya. Attorney Aishma? Attorney Aishma?
Yes, sir. Opo, nandito po.
Do you have problems with the environment there? Maybe the Attorney Gloria has not had a chance to go there. Have you ever had problems on the environment?
Sir,
Sure you have.
the procedure for any investment here in Subic, whether big or small, they will have to pass ecology ecology parameters. We have our own ecology center, which works very closely with the Department of Environment and Natural Resources. Should there be say for an example, a plot of land, should there be a need to cut a tree, everything would have to be followed. All the rules of the national environmental rules has to be followed, including replacements if it becomes necessary, if the cutting of a tree becomes necessary. So rest assured
Stop there
po.
for a while, Ami. Stop there
Opo.
for a while. Ma'am, Attorney Gloria,
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
has the EMB ever fined anybody? What was your biggest fines?
Sorry, I'm sorry.
What was your biggest fine?
Sir? I think I don't remember the figure, but if you remember, there's a ship that was na 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 na, na nag there will be ships na pag magsispill ng oil ba, sir?
Spilled oil, right?
Yes, spilled oil.
And
Pero
we
sir,
had
but
and
sir, since the previous experience of spilled oil, mas naging vigilant na po tayo at meron na pong systems in place na binabantayan po, nire-record and binabantayan po yung mga ships, including their waste para hindi nila tinatapon sa dagat, para pong ganun. So, and as you know, we also have our own harbor patrol to ensure na ang patrolling ng ating karagatan is constant. Hindi po kami umaasa lang sa Coast Guard. Though meron din pong Coast Guard dito. Meron din kaming sariling harbor
meron
patrol.
tayong mga boat na mag-mitigate kung may oil spill, di ba?
Yes, sir. Meron po.
Binili niyo nung araw, nung bumalik sa akin, di ba?
Yes, sir.
Dami-dami
Yes,
nun,
sir.
di
Meron
ba?
po.
Pero, and you are aware, I was asking Attorney Gloria kung anong fine. Alam mo, finahin ko nung araw yung Enron. Yung kanilang, power plant, umuusok, ginagamit na yung lumang power plant ng US Navy. Sabi ko, pag ginamit nyo yan, gusto ko makita na irresponsible kayo. The CEO came in, Kenley, and I said, I have to fine you. And they paid 2 million pesos and they fixed it right away. All right? I have on occasion gone out to sea. Ang problema natin may EMB tayo, mayroon tayong DNR. Pero yung mga basurang kinakalat halimbawa sa Manila Bay or even in Olongapo and Subic towns, pagdating ng bagyo, makikita mo nagkakaroon ng basura. I'm a fisherman. Galit na galit ako pag may mga plastic because mamatay yung mga isda at pagka nahuhuli mo, panay plastic. So, ini-enforce namin yan sa Subic, no? And narinig mo yung sinabi ni Attorney Ace pa na in coordination with you, may coordination. So, pag-usapan na lang yun sa TWG yan because kaya tinanong kita kung nagpupunta ka doon because napakahigpit namin dyan. Bawal pumatay ng ahas. May tigahuli kami ng ahas, ibabalik siya sa jungle. Tama ba yun, Attorney Ace man? Yung fire department natin, pagka nakakita ng ahas, di ba, hinuhuli?
Binabalik sir, lahat sir po ng wildlife, even sir here yung mga monkeys kahit na nakakasagabal na sila sa traffic, nagkakalat ng basura, hindi po yan hinahunt.
In fact, we don't allow people feeding the monkeys, right?
Opo, kasi po.
Ayoko yung handout eh. Political handout. Pati unggoy, binibigyan nila ng pagkain eh. Ayaw na tuloy mag-forage ng mga unggoy. So we ban that. In fact, ma'am, Attorney Gloria, I
Yes,
got
Mr.
there.
Chair.
The Aita community there now owns Subic Bay. Sa totoo lang, we have an agreement with them na meron silang share sa environment. They have livelihood. They teach us conservation of the forest. They teach people how to survive in the jungle. So, kami ginagawa namin yan. Ayoko maningil sa inyo kasi hiling ko kayo, magtatampo na naman kayo sa akin. Nakikita ko yan gumawa tayo dito sa Manila Bay. Maganda naman. Hindi ako umaangal. Medyo mahal lang. Pero nung biglang bumagyo, ay lahat ng basura umakyat doon sa Dolomite Beach. Di ba? Hindi ko inaatake yan. Basta maganda, gawin natin. Pero, before you start thinking of ethnic closing, mag-usap muna kayo. Pag nag-usap tayo, saka natin ayusin. Okay? So, you'll be part of the TWG. And I suggest you go to Subic and see the environment there.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. So we will also submit, Mr. Chairman, our official position paper for the consideration of course, the TWG.
Let me be frank and candid. I will repeat again what I said. Maganda mag-submit. Marami sinasubmit, wala nagbabasa kung minsan. Hindi ko sinasabing staff ko hindi babasahin. Pero mas gusto ko mag-submit kayo, bupo kayo, isa-isayin nyo katulad ng ginagawa natin dito. Baka hindi natin mapaandar ito, hindi natin mapairal ito, tuloy-tuloy magagawa kaagad. Pwede ba yun, ma'am?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Mas mabilis yan, ma'am.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Anything else here? Any other questions? So, if there are no more questions, yes.
Sir, Mr. Chairman, good
Arlene
afternoon.
Pascual is recognized, although I cannot see you. You're in the dark.
Wait, sir.
Just press the
I already did.
stop video.
Yeah. Maybe it will work later. It's schooling. Yeah. So, sir, magandang hapon po. I am Arlene Pascual. I'm the Provincial Planning and Development Coordinator of the Provincial Government of Bulacan.
Yes.
So, yung na-mention niyo, sir, na borderlessness, that we believe
Sandali. Can you take off your mask because nahihirapan ako mapakinggan ka? Meron kang bang katabi dyan?
Wala po, sir.
Oh, wala pala. Di, pag kami katabi
So,
mo.
sir, thank you, sir. So, ano po, sir, I believe that the borderlessness of Region 3 will conclude inclusive growth.
Sorry?
And will promote inclusive growth, sir.
Yeah, of course.
And the honorable chairman, being a former LGU elected official, I'm sure will take care of the LGUs in the implementation of the Rich Bill. So in that light, Your Honor, I would just like to impress on some points, like will the local revenue sources of LGUs be affected as prescribed in the local government code with the passage of the Rich Bill? And would the LGU get a fair share from the tax impositions of the rich bill? Mr. Chair, thank you very much.
Even before you ask that, Arlene, I raised that already. Kanina, I don't know if you heard me.
I'm sorry, sir.
Yung revenue sharing, no? Sabi ko nga pag nag-revenue sharing, dapat talagang may sinishare tayo. Paano tayo mag-share kung walang cooperation at hindi magtatrabaho? Dapat talaga magtrabaho lahat at tumulong. Pag nagkaroon ka ba, sabihin natin, sa maraming lupa? Sa Kalumpit, sa Malolos, sa San Miguel, sa Bulacan, di ba? Maglalagay dyan ng industrial park. By the way, pwede rito, halimbawa, yung may-ari ng lupa, pwede siya mag-apply ng sarili niya, siya ang maglagay ng industrial park niya at kakabit niya sa Clark Field kung gusto niya, or he can have parang PEZA, no? Special Economic Zone, pwede rin yan, no? And
Yes.
yung sharing, pag-usapan ninyo sa TWG, right now may share lahat ng mga communities. In fact, kahit na hindi kasali dyan, sumasali, di ba? Dati, originally, Subic, Olongapo, lamang, pero Castillejo, San Marcelino, umabot na tayo sa San Antonio. Tama ba yun, Attorney Esma?
Yes, sir. There are now 8 municipalities and one city who benefits from, or what we call the LGU shares coming out from the 5% GIE. That's GIE tax that is being paid by the locators po.
Ayun, ang sagot doon. Ang answer ko, kailangan lang, ang sinabi ko kanina, dapat pag magsasubmit, project-based. May project kami dito paglalagyan ng project, para hindi naman whim and caprice. Alright? Di ba? Do you agree, Arlene? Do you agree? Arlene
I
Pascual?
agree, Mr. Chairman.
So, I'm a former local government official. That's why I'm very sensitive pag national government.
I know. Yes, I know.
Marami tayong problema.
So we feel confident, sir, Mr. Chairman, we feel confident that the LGUs will not be left out in this endeavor.
No, of course not. It's for you.
Yes.
It's for you. Ayoko lang yung pagka kasama kayo sa board, ilalagay ko yung asawa ko, ilalagay ko yung anak ko. Di ba? Dapat talaga professional rin ang ilalagay nyo para mag-succeed. The success of one is the success of all. Hindi ito pagkakataon na kahit na hindi nakakaintindi na kung ano ilalagay natin, bahala kayo pagka ganon may pinapanood ako kay Lee Kuan Yew, sabi ganon, it's up to you if you choose to elect charlatans, jokers, ones with the give of gab, you will pay for it and you will regret it. Sabi niya ganon. No? And that's why I say, paglagay kayo pero mga professionals. Kaya pati yung 7 members of the board na binago ko kagabi, dapat may urban planner, may nagpo-promote. And by the way, kayo mismo pwede mag-promote because you have computers and you can say, we're part of this zone here. Come over. Meron na kayong ibebenta. Si Governor may ibebenta na. Itong lugar na ito, develop ito. Kasama ito dito sa Rich Bill. And come over. Tama yung sinasabi kanina ni Willie Wang ng SBDMC at yung tutulungan tayo ng Department of Finance. I hope nasasabihin, ito talaga, klarong-klaro ang makukuha nyong natitirang incentives dito sa CREATE para ang tao hindi papasok tapos sasabihin, binago naman niya yung patakaran niya. Hindi natin pwede gawin yan. Masyado tayong napapaso dyan sa mga ganyang patakaran. So malinaw yan. We will protect, I'm here to protect the people, not the local government, the people
Thank you
itself.
very much, sir. Thank you po.
Thank you. Salamat. That was a very good comment. I knew somebody was gonna bring it up kasi kung di mo bring up ko na uli. So we will talk about that in the technical working group para malinaw. Okay?
Yeah, we will submit also some other comments po.
Para may performance. Go ahead, Arlene.
Yeah, we will also submit other comments to the TW.
Of course. Free country.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Anybody else? Any other comments? Okay, in that case, we will announce when we'll have the technical working group meeting. The earliest possible date for TWG would be September 9. What date is that? Thursday or Friday? Thursday? Baka 11 a.m. Nagugutom na kagad yung mga tao. Siguro 10 o'clock would be decent. 10 a.m., 10 a.m., September 9. Everybody agree? The Department of Finance, NEDA, EMB, lahat kayo, local governments, diyan na tayo pumasok. Kayo ang gagawa ng batas, ipa-fine tune lang natin para walang magko-collision course, para pag na-approve ito, tuloy-tuloy yan. Kung ako yan, I would make a deal with ilang experience ko, World Bank, they'll provide the grant and they will get the experts on how we can make this zone be the model for the entire country so that we can get investment, so we can get jobs. That's my suggestion. Did we do that, Ami? Were you there already? You were not yet my EA then, but we had all the experts from World Bank. You know what they even said? You're not going to have ships there, Mr. Mayor. Mayor pa ako nun eh. Pagbalik ko, they threw a party for me. You know why?
Because the ships were back.
Because the ships put in. Andun na yung Maersk, andun na yung American President Lines, and they were loading. So pagka unloading, so yan ang kailangan natin. That's why pagka committed tayo, mas mabilis tayo. And that's why tumulong ang World Bank, napagawa namin yung airport, inabot namin sa APEC, inabot namin sa FedEx, yun ang requirement ng FedEx, napagawa namin yung, you can do anything, provided united kayo, strong yung government niyo, at disente, walang kurakot, this country will grow. That is really the formula for our country's regeneration. New life. New life. Okay? So, you're all on notice, September 9 at 10 a.m. We'll meet you in the world of cyber world. I remember I had a slogan before, Subic Bay, bringing the world to the Philippines and the Philippines to the world by satellite, you know, by air, by land, by sea, by satellite, and by cyberspace. And this is what we've done already. So we're there. We had FedEx at the time, by air, by land, meron kaming tunnel na ginawa. Ngayon, nadagdagan pa, and by sea. Of course, kung nakuha natin si caching, mas mabilis. Pero dyan na yan. We just have to work our way to development. And those of you who worry about the prerogatives of your agencies, it's right for you to worry. It's right for you to help guide us. But it's also your duty to help us improve it. Okay? So, thank you very much. And Sherry? What's this, Sherry? Eleuteria, nakikita niya yung araw. Ang pangalan niya, Mirasol. Mirasol. Cherry, you make the arrangements, please, so that we can have this technical working group, and then we can finally submit the bill. I would like to ask Mr. Pineda to talk to your congressman because siya nag-file ng bill. Ang akala ko na-approve na, hindi pa pala na-approve sa lower house. So if that is approved in the lower house, dapat mas mabilis tayo para we can do this. The elections are forthcoming and I don't want this to be stranded by politics. So
we'll do that, Mr. Chairman. We will do that.
Thank you very much. Maraming salamat sa inyo at ako ay nagpapasalamat kung kayo ay we had a very frank, candid, and hopeful directions that have been set here. Maraming salamat sa inyo. God bless the Republic of the Philippines. Mabuhay kayong lahat. Thank you.
Thank you,
Mr.
sir.
Chairman.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Sammy. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Mabuhay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.